Welcome to the Vault XL. Thank you for joining me. This is a two-part live pertaining to Tamia Taylor. She is still currently missing as far as information has been relayed to the public, but a body was recovered Saturday on the Arkansas side of the Mississippi River. Her family are waiting confirmation of that said decedent, and I'm going to play you commentary pertaining to that storyline. And I'm also going to be discussing Jonathan Quilles, who has been found guilty of murdering his niece and her unborn child, and sentencing has been rendered. He will receive life without parole. This is a two-part live. We're going to start with Jonathan first, and throughout the live, interchange both subject matters. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $ Big Angie, 129 Cash App, stickers and chats are welcome during the live stream. We're going back to the verdict from last week. Jonathan Quilles found guilty of raping, murdering his niece and her unborn child. First Coast News is a source.
The jury came to that verdict in less than an hour, and they will be back here at the courthouse on Monday, and so will we, as they determine whether or not Jonathan Quilles would get the death penalty. It's been 5 years since Ayanna Sawyer disappeared from Terry Parker High School. Her body has never been found. Investigators say Quilles killed Ayanna because she was carrying his child and refused to have an abortion. The belief that Quilles was the father was backed up by two confessions presented during the trial, one to his brother and the other to jail informants on a secret recording.
Snapchat alone tells you there's a lot of sex going on between the defendant and IS under everybody's nose.
Quilles told his brother and informants he tried to strangle Sawyer but ended up shooting her at a junkyard where he worked. In closing arguments, the defense argued a body has never been found. First Coast News spoke with Sawyer's family attorney, John Phillips, after the verdict came down.
Ayanna's mother was saying thank you, not just to me, but to law enforcement and to the prosecutor, to the jury. And I think that's the message they wanted me to convey. Certainly the jury coming up with quick justice in less than an hour was powerful and meaningful.
The judge has ordered that penalty phase to start at 10 a.m. Monday. Of course, we'll be here at the courthouse for minute-by-minute updates. Reporting live from the Duval County Courthouse, I'm Destiny McKeever.
First Coast News is the source. Very, very wicked story. Hello, OK Lounge with Gwen Michelle. Thank you for joining me, Stardust. I kept thinking that this man was messing around with his own biological niece, but it was his wife's niece, wife's sister's child. Still disrespectful and heinous altogether. Many people have testified and also given impact statements on behalf of this thing. And that's the most disturbing part of the story, beside a jury finding him guilty, rendering life without parole. But the fact that people would get on a witness stand and speak of him in a so-called dignified light, when in the end, you have no idea who the hell you're talking about. You don't know this man from a can of paint, because in the end, we don't really truly know anyone. You can only speak of your dealings with a person at that time, the last time you dealt with them. But that's all you really can say about a person. It's what your dealings are. So if you have never had a negative experience with someone, an undignified experience with someone, then you can't speak of that. You can say, oh, well, I've heard they, he, whomever has issues with this one and that one, or went through this and that, but I haven't experienced that. And I still feel that some of these people have knowledge of his behavior, his deviant behavior, because it was said, a relative said he didn't need to be around the children. An aunt spoke about that during court. He didn't need to be around the children. She witnessed an inappropriate hug. He seemed more hugged up with the niece than just a, hey, how you doing? Good to see you, and then keep it moving. Because there's always somebody that knows, and there's always somebody that aids offenders. This is why crime continues. And this is just the truth. Friends, family, associates, neighbors, co-workers, managers, you aid foolishness. Then they go to court, they get a bail, they get a bond. Now they're aided by the judicial system. This is a problem. And I don't know how to fix it. How can you fix it? You can't. Because there are so many people who have committed crimes that they had no business, and I mean no business, getting a bond or bail. And then they go out while on bond and bail and commit the same atrocious act, plural, while out on bail, bond, and or pretrial release. And then when they get caught finally again, then somebody says, a judge, oh, you're remanded. You're going to stay in here until you go to trial. Well, la-di-da. But forget about those people out there that they've offended, accosted. This is the system. Innocent until proven guilty. Even when you look guilty, we got stuff on you, eyewitness, CCTV footage, DNA, fingerprint, latent print. I'm still let you walk free. And I believe that some of these people who have testified and given commentary on behalf of him, you've had ideas and witnessed inappropriate behavior on this man. And yet you're still aiding him as if he's a 5-year-old child. My understanding that he has the mind of a child, the equivalency of a child as far as IQ and all this, well, then he should have gotten some help. But that's the whole point. Who's going to help him? Because one, he has to acknowledge he needs help. And just like somebody said it on another network, he's hanging around schools because he fancies children. Of course. That's what pedophiles do. That's what sadists do. They frequent what they fancy. You like little boys, little girls, and you're grown, then you're going to hang around schoolhouses, school events. You want to be a part of a child's life, taking them to the park, the museum, inviting them over for sleepovers, hanging around playgrounds, going to functions pertaining to children, sporting events, because you fancy children. That's your thing. No different than a person who likes picking up prostitutes, having sex, and nefarious dealings with street workers. Well, you scroll the avenue looking for sex workers. It's all the same. You patronize what you desire. This is why we have the crimes we have. Because these people are walking around sociopaths, pretending and mimicking allegedly decent human beings, and they're right there in plain sight, and you're laughing and talking and kiki-keying with them, and you have no idea who you're talking to. And there's a sadist in probably everybody's family. And there's something wrong with people who aid them. And I speak from personal experience of living in a household where somebody aids a pedophile, and they had no problem with it. And that's my truth. Some people never heard the story. I rarely talk about it. It's beyond belief that you would aid somebody that you know likes touching and fondling children, and yet you would let them in your house. So this story was personal to me. Because there is no excuse for aiding a pedophile. And as I have said before, that this is usually a taught behavior. 9 times out of 10, he witnessed inappropriate behavior in his household, or someone probably touched him or exposed him to pornography. It's usually a pattern because most Satanists have been offended. That has been proven statistically, that a lot of sadists have been offended. Serial killers, rapists, child molesters. They were offended as children, brutally abused, beat up, verbally, sexually, and that's not their fault. But the point is, if you don't get any help, you're going to be an offender. That's just the bottom line. And as we have learned as being human beings, you learn by example. You lead by example. You mimic what you see. You mimic what was done to you. And it may not be something you want to do or be, but you do. Because common sense should tell you, if a little boy was molested, then he starts touching other children, what would make him stop? He could stop, of course, but he'd have to want to stop to say, well, I know that's not right. I shouldn't be touching my sister. I shouldn't be touching this little girl across the street. He'd have to want to stop. And it's not to say that children who have touched each other inappropriately, because children are curious, that doesn't mean that every child grew up to be a molester. Let's make that clear. But who's going to testify? Oh, yeah, I used to touch kids inappropriately, and now I'm an adult. I don't have any desire to touch children, or I do have the desire to touch children, and I do touch children. Who's going to tell that? Possibly no one. Jonathan Quilles will receive life without parole. First Coast News is the source. Thank you for joining me. Hope everyone is well. Have a wonderful week, everybody.
Rapist Jonathan Quilles will spend the rest of his life in prison. He was found guilty last week of killing his teenage niece, Ayanna Sawyer, who was pregnant with his baby.
On your side, Taylor Levesque joins us live now outside the courthouse where that verdict was just read in the last couple of minutes. Can you tell us some more, please, from inside the courtroom?
That's right. As you said, Jonathan Quilles will spend the rest of his life in prison. And as the judge is reading that verdict, he was sitting down silent and didn't really have any reaction. Now, during the phase of this trial, we heard victim impact statements from Sawyer's family, friends, and family of Quilles who testified on his behalf. Ayanna Sawyer's sister described her and the unborn baby being thrown away like trash. She says her sister has no resting place, and others who knew Quilles spoke highly of him. Friends described him as happy-go-lucky and a real good friend, dependable and a great father. They said he spent time at church and with family. The court also heard from a psychologist who gave more insight on Quilles, stating his highest level of education is 6th grade and he has antisocial personality disorder. Now here's a look at when that verdict was being read.
We have further considered whether Jonathan Quilles should be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole or death. We, the jury, find Jonathan Quilles should be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
And only 8 of those 12 jurors had to decide. That was not a unanimous decision. Again, Jonathan Quilles will spend the rest of his life in prison. Live in downtown Jacksonville, Taylor Levesque, First Coast News, on your side.
All right, everybody, that's the said information. So as you hear, many people, or a few, let's say, spoke positively about this thing. But as I said, that means nothing, because we have learned time and time again with true crime, you do not know people. You do not know the capability of man or woman or child. You can only speak of what you experience with them. And a lot of times people lie. They know of nefarious behavior of people and they will lie. No, I don't know anything about it. No, he don't act like that around me. No, she don't act like that. No, I don't know if I'm doing anything. And they do know. They do know. Such as Mr. Dinkins. He had a past. Went to prison for touching a 5-year-old at 18. As I said, 9 times out of 10, he's been touching children. And he was accused of killing Breasia Terrell, his biological son's sister. And the jury said, yay. He should get the death penalty too. I have no respect for anybody that messes with children, because there's no reason for you to be messing with a child. There are too many walking adults for you to fancy. And usually, as I said, these people were possibly offended as children, probably didn't have a life as a child, a great life as a child. Usually, these people didn't have childhoods. We learned that with Mr. R. Kelly, sheltered in the house for some sick reason by his mother, which I don't understand. Why you allow your other older children to go out and play and be into the world, but not Robert Sylvester Kelly, the talented one. And then look how he turned out. Liking boys and girls, men and women. That comes from somewhere because he was touched by a neighbor and his own sister. So then you have to ask that question. Who was touching the sister for her to think it was appropriate to be touching her younger brother? And yet they still continue to have a decent relationship thereafter. Imagine that. And you see that also. People fraternizing with their offender. Still chucking it up with their molesting brother, molesting uncle, molesting grandpa. That's even more vile. You know they've touched you inappropriately, and yet you are chucking it up with them. Why? Why did these people give him life without parole? I'm curious. The state of Florida has its own law. It only takes 8 to rule for death. Do not need a unanimous of 12 members. Some people may disagree with that. I read a comment yesterday. This is America. It should be 12. Well, Florida says no. Each state has his or her own laws pertaining to different subject matters. So in the state of Florida, it only takes 8 people to vote for the death penalty. It was not unanimous, as you heard in this commentary. So I'd like to know what was the number for death. How many voted to put that dog down? That's what I'd like to know. The sister gave an impact statement of the victim, and I find it very disrespectful that her name was not said during the proceedings, because I believe the defense had a problem with her name being mentioned as a victim because her body was never found. Well, let me think about that for just a second. Do you know how many court cases where a person went on trial for murder and there was no evidence and no body, and yet their name was mentioned during the proceedings? Do you know how disrespectful that is to only call her by initials in the court? I got tired of hearing it, and I didn't even follow the trial all the way through. I just gave you updates on my community page. But it is disrespectful, as if she didn't even exist. She's just a initial. Thank you, OK Lounge. IS. That's all a child has been reduced to, are initials. Carrying a child. Wait a minute. A child carrying a child reduced to initials in the court of law. How is that respectful? You snuffed out 2 people. Snapchat messages, endless messages to this girl who you had no business messaging about a relationship and what she's doing and who she likes and who she's sleeping with. I told myself, are they sure he was the father of her child? Because he had a problem with her messing around with a young boy, which this is what young people do, whether you condone sex underage or not. Is it verified that he was the father of the child? Well, we already know you couldn't verify it because she hadn't even given birth. She hadn't lived to give birth. Who's to say it wasn't somebody else's baby and he was upset? But they say they have testimony, wiretaps to show he knew it was his. She said it was his, so on and so forth. He killed the girl, but I don't understand why he killed her when he was just sending messages talking about how he would feed her and how she would get fat and she would have to do anything. So which is it? I like you, I hate you. But you could tell in his text messages he was all over the place. One minute he's hating her, the next minute he's in love with her. Oh, I want to do this to you. I want to hurt you. Then I'm going to cry. That shows the side of him that was still a 14-year-old boy. How old was this thing? I don't recollect. The mind of a 14-year-old, but yet behaving as an adult. Seeking out little girls he's related to or by marriage. Why? When we have all these viable walking grown-ups around. And I'm sure there are many men that we women have slumbered with and dated and liked like little kids. You just don't know about it. But oh, imagine if you found out. How would you react? Would you still date him? Be in a relationship? He held his head down when the sister gave her impact statement. That showed guilt to me. You were bubbly any other time, bouncing in the court before getting the verdict last week, smiling and gaping at everybody in the courtroom like you had just walked in, like you were Jay-Z. But oh my, guilty verdict now, sentencing impact statements, your head's down. Why? Why? Because those words were eating at you. Even this narcissistic demon you are. The words ate at you, didn't they, Jonathan? She's telling the truth. I snuffed out her sister. I did. I was sickly fascinated with a child, knowing it was wrong. I've been pretending to be a decent human being, and I am not. I'm a sadist. I'm a monster. A living, walking, breathing monster. And people know that I'm this, and they have aided me. Even walked in the court speaking on my behalf. A cousin speaking on his behalf. A auntie speaking on his behalf, talking, going on and on about keeping him and raising him or whatever. And I was thinking, lady, please stop. You're boring me. Talking about church and God. Oh my, did they lay it on thick. And those usually are the ones who are sadists. Those sitting in the church pew. Or hell, even behind the pulpit. Telling you how you should live and how you should be humbled. Praise the Lord. Everybody say amen. Who better to be a sadist than somebody Bible thumping every 5 minutes? Leading the flock into the abyss. I'm very leery of people who Bible thump constantly. Nothing wrong with a Bible verse or two. But when it's extreme, every 5 seconds it's a Bible verse, thou shalt not, thou shalt not. I start looking at you side-eyed. Because what I want to know is, are you going to take off that cloak, robe, show us the real you? Now, we are all sinners, whether you believe in God or not. But like I said, when you Bible thump to the point your fingers are bloody, it's time to stop. Because we are all flawed. But flawed and sadistic are two different things. Now, of course, in the eyes of God, a flaw is a flaw, a sin is a sin. But see, we are human, so we don't view things the way God does. Because we're down here. He's up there. So I'm looking at you different as a child molester. Checkmate. It doesn't matter if I'm a dirty old something my damn self. But I'm saying, I don't mess with babies. I ain't murdering folks. So hell yeah, I'm looking at you different. Because I'm of the flesh. People knew. My auntie knew. Did she not? Inappropriate hugging. Hugged up was the word she used. And you can get a vibe that something is awry with a person, their demeanor, eye contact, fishiness, swaying, sweating. You see, sometimes you tell on yourself because a lot of us, we are human. We show signs that we are doing things we don't have no business. And then there are other people who walk around, they are good at lying, being manipulative, grooming. Nobody sees the signs except for the victim. So what I'd like to know, did any of these girl children ever tell a parent, friend, teacher, they were inappropriately touched by Mr. Jonathan Quilles? And if so, what happened? Obviously nothing. And for the auntie to tell the mothers, whomever, I don't want them around the children, you'll need to have them around the children, what was the response from the women? What you talking about? He ain't like that. He ain't like that. Oh, you know he's like that. Because if every time you turn around, somebody's doting on a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old, however old the child is, you should still be looking at them in a certain way. Because there's nothing wrong with an uncle, cousin wanting a hug on a female relative. But at some point, it needs to stop. You done hugged her enough. Separate. Sitting on laps of grown men, not a good idea either. Men always want to take girl children somewhere, and that goes for the boys too. Homosexual men fancying little boys. But we as people are trusting. Until we get a signal that something ain't right, then we should be saying, I better go with my gut. I don't like what I'm seeing. And something don't sound right. And you know that old saying, if it don't look right, it probably ain't. Look and the sound are really the same sometimes. He touches her too much. Stroking her hair and her shoulder blades and stuff. See, I'm sure all that was going on. That's why the auntie said what she said. And who was listening? Nobody. Because if somebody was listening, they probably didn't say it aloud. Hey, yeah, I'm noticing the same thing too. See, sometimes you got to call the bluff of the person. Because what is worse is for them to know that you know they are that way instead of you just whispering about it with everybody else. Call the bluff. Hey, I'm noticing you a little too touchy-feely with my niece, my nephew, whatever, and wait for a response. And then you let them know, well, I think you need to lay off. That way now they know you know. So they know now, I can't do this like this. Even if they're going to continue the behavior, they're going to be sneaky with it. But now they know. See, this is what's wrong with most of you. You don't want to tell nobody you know they up to no good. No, you need to start telling them. Bruh, we don't do that here. We don't pick up little girls. We don't pick up little boys. We don't touch them. We don't stroke hair. We don't do that. Now they know. How did it come to be that he got her at the junkyard, strangled her? What do you mean it didn't work? She's a kid. She can't fight back. So I'm trying to understand. You got to shoot her? So did you already have tarp in the car? So you could clear the car out, clean it out. Nobody would suspect anything. You lured her there? Possibly. To say what exactly? I need to talk to you about something. I want to take you out. So I didn't follow the trial all the way through because trials are winded and this certain subject matters I don't like indulging in. And when it comes to this right here, the Dinkins was enough. This right here was right up there with Mr. Dinkins. I don't like stories about child molestation. I don't like to hear the details. Where I have the problem is that somebody knew. That's where I have a problem. And now a whole person is missing, carrying an infant in their tummy. So 2 missing, 2 dead. And yet, as somebody said, many people were saying in the comment sections of the videos, you people knew all along. And he's on tape telling folks, and yet you're still in court talking about him like he's Jesus Christ superstar. He's so nice. He went to church and he's always thoughtful and considerate. And oh, when his mother was this and sick, and who the hell are you talking about? Because you ain't talking about that thing that choked and shot a little girl with a baby in her tummy. You must be talking about somebody else. Who the hell are you talking about? But see, these are the lies we tell ourselves. Trust me, I know I can speak from experience about dealing with sadistic folks. Maybe he'll change. Maybe he'll change. Maybe not a child molester, but he's sadistic, a liar, a narcissist, violent. Hell no, he ain't gonna change because he's too damn grown now. And he likes the bitterness. No different than the damn sadist, child molester, rapist. They like it. So I ain't gonna change what I like. I like being in the abyss. Well, stay your ass on down there because I don't want to be down there with you. Hello, Joy. See, that's what you got to tell yourself about sadistic behavior. I don't want to join you. I don't want to be on your team. I don't want to be a cohort. I don't want to be an aider, enabler. I don't want no parts of what you got going on because it ain't right. See, a child could be alive right now had somebody spoke up and called Jonathan Quilles bluff. Bruh, I know what you're doing. And it's getting ready to stop or your ass is going to jail. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? You see inappropriate behavior, remove yourself, remove the child. I don't give a damn, that's your brother. And I'm sure that wife saw some things. She was defensive to me, testifying. Well, I didn't this, and I don't know nothing about this. And like I said, okay, heifer, calm down. You act like you on trial for damn murder. The hell is your problem? Who you mad at? That's what I wanted to tell her when I was listening to her last week. Who are you mad at, Queen? You mad because what? You were sleeping with a child molester. You made children with a child molester. You saw the signs of a child molester and you didn't do a damn thing about the child molester. Is that what you mad about? Or you mad because you in court testifying? What's the problem? Ex-wife. Who the hell are you mad at? Because you got life. This baby gone. 2 babies gone, matter of fact. It's the world we live in. Maybe one day when the queen decides, she will share a story with you. True story. Some may not like it. Some may even get offended. But I told myself yesterday that I'm no longer going to care about what somebody else thinks I think of them. Because it's my truth, whatever I've experienced in life. And if I want to share a story, a version, then I will gladly share it. But under the circumstances of recent, I'm just tired. Tired of these stories. Tired of dealing with ignorant people. Just tired. And I've decided I don't want to keep participating. I don't want to keep giving anybody any more chances. I don't want to do it anymore. That's why I'm pissed off about this story. Because she should be alive today. The baby should be alive today. And then you got to ask yourself that. Nobody noticed anything about a little girl's having sexual relations. Period. Even if it was with a 16-year-old boy. You don't ask your child where they're going. What they did today. This is what's wrong with the world right here. Ain't nobody asking nothing. Ain't trying to find out nothing. When are you people going to start caring about your damn children? When are you people going to start speaking up on stuff that you're seeing? 2023, and you people are still aiding child molesters. I don't get it. I know somebody right now still speaks of their own child molester as in a good light. It's got to be the stupidest person breathing. Yeah, I can say that. Because there's no way you're 40-something years old and you're still groomed in the head about somebody that used to touch you inappropriately. But you act like you're crazy any damn way. Pathological liar, keep up mess, messy. And still we'll talk about a child molester that's now dead in a good light. You can't be no more jacked up than that. And of course, Angela says nothing at the time, of course. Because I feel like this about certain people. Why argue with a fool? There comes a point when they tell you, don't say nothing. You know the truth. No matter what the circumstances are, why argue with a fool? Why even give a response? And I have to learn that now. Some things are not even worth responding to. Don't say nothing. Just don't engage. And then you don't have to worry about responding. Was the baby Jonathan's? Or was it another young male's baby? I wonder. We will never know. The back and the forth of the text messages was so disturbing to me. Listening to the detective read the text messages, listening to the state's attorney read the text messages, I was stunned. Like, how in the world nobody knows this is going on between this man and this child? The back and the forth, the criticisms. He liked her, he hated her. He hated her, he liked her. And nobody saw nothing. Did she tell anybody that she was having sex with this uncle? I swear I thought this was his own biological niece until I realized it was a wife's niece. Still inappropriate, of course. Did she not see the signs? And where were they having sex? These are the things you're going to ask yourself. Where is he having sex with a child? Anywhere. Did she tell anybody? Did he tell anybody? Yeah, man, I'm messing with my wife's niece. Why are you telling people in jail what you did? You are this stupid? Oh, yeah, because in jail, they're going to ask you, hey, did you do it? You kill that lady? Did you kill this kid? Did you, kill your wife, whatever? You know not to tell them that you did it. You're not even supposed to even conversate about it. Don't even hint that you did it. But they say they have recordings where he's admitted to strangling the young girl. You can't be this dumb. Let's hear a little bit of testimony, and then we will talk about Miss Tamia Taylor. Thank you for joining me. What a world. Oh, God help us. We're in a bad way. We'll listen to a little bit of what the aunt has to say. Her impact statement. It's a bit winded, but I'll just give you bits and pieces. About 16 minutes long.
And ma'am, are you related to IS?
Yes, I am.
And how?
I'm her aunt.
And are you Kim Mobley's sister?
Yes.
And Ms. Dixon, did you provide a victim impact evidence statement?
Yes, I did.
And would you please read verbatim your victim impact statement, ma'am? And take your time.
Absolutely. Your Honorable Court, my name is Paula Dixon, and to the family it was no secret that I was Ayanna Sawyer's favorite aunt. I remember the day she was born like it was yesterday. I received a call advising me that my sister had gone into labor. My husband and I gathered our children and met my mom and my sister at the hospital. After hours of labor, Ayanna Michelle Sawyer made her grand entrance into the world, and it was love at first sight. My princess Yana Boo was the perfect baby. Her smile was so contagious. This was my sister's first child, so she did everything by the book. I literally watched her embrace her new role as a mother. We had our first birthday party at my house, which I will never forget. I said, Yaya, what do you want to eat? She pointed to the plate and said, beans. We pulled out the smash cake, and she sat on my lap as I fed her. My sister came up with the bright idea to push her face in the cake, which I simply refused to do. Instead, I took her hand and stuck it in the cake. She turned to me, held out her hand, and said, it's dirty. It tickled me something serious. Shortly thereafter, Maya was born. My sister couldn't wait for her daughters to finally meet. My two nieces were inseparable from that moment on. My mother raised us to always be there for your sisters, and I could see that my sister was ensuring that our next generation would do the same. In years to come, she would gain 2 additional brothers. Being the oldest, she became a natural-born leader. She would teach her younger siblings how to read, write, do math, and a plethora of other things. She utilized the leadership skills that she gained at home to pursue other endeavors at school. She was an honor roll student, a crossing guard, and a great friend, to name a few things. She was the definition of, if I can believe it, I can achieve it. She never let a challenge stop her because she knew she could do or be anything she put her mind to. At an early age, we saw that she strived to be the very best and that she always wanted to be a top performer. As a family, we encouraged her to never settle for less because we knew she was destined for greatness. She began receiving scholarships when she was in elementary school, and by the time she entered middle school, she was in honors classes. She began doing extracurricular activities such as playing the violin and joining the step team. As she entered high school, she began taking college courses and was on track to graduate early. She loved to dance and had the craziest sense of humor. One time she called out to one of her brothers, telling him that she needed help. He came running in to see what was wrong, and as soon as he hit the kitchen floor, Boom. He slipped and fell on the dishwashing liquor that she put all over the floor. She got a good laugh off of that one. This is just one of the many jokes she played on her siblings. She was the best big sister and very big on family. She was truly her mom's little mini-me. Her siblings looked up to her. As time went on, she became a big cousin. The babies just loved her. My nephew was so crazy about her. One time she was sitting at the top of the stairs and he began climbing up the stairs to get to her. He made it about halfway and said, "Yah." I guess it made her heart melt because when she went down the stairs to pick him up, she was such a diva and a true fashionista. I started getting her lotions and fragrances from Victoria's Secrets, and she immediately fell in love with the pink line. She knew that for her birthdays and Christmas, she was getting something pertaining to pink. The smile on her face when she opened her gifts was priceless. She loved to eat. We would have family gatherings regularly, from seafood Saturday to Sunday dinner. Thanksgiving was one of her favorite holidays. I started a tradition letting the kids spend the night so that they could help prepare the meal. She loved being around family. Her smile lit up any room that she entered, and she was such a joy to be around. She was our princess, and she wore the title well. As time passed, we received shocking news that she was pregnant. I was so excited to be a great aunt, and I could not wait to find out what she was having. It was almost Christmas time, so I made a big Sunday dinner, and everyone came to my house to paint nutcrackers. I guess the baby liked the greens because she started moving around, and I said, the baby's gonna like my cooking. Never in a million years did I imagine this would be the last time that I saw her. The following Wednesday, I received word that she didn't come home from school. I can never put into words the feeling of panic that came over me. From that moment on, our lives would never be the same. We called and texted her for weeks with no response. After a while, we received the news that no one wanted to hear. She was gone and never coming back. We had to tell our children that she was gone while holding back our tears as we wiped theirs away. My poor sister had to keep herself together because she had 3 other...
Let me stop right here. I'm wanting to know, how was it confirmed that she wasn't coming back? That's what I like to know. How was it confirmed to the family that she wasn't coming back? Because if the body was never found, how would you have confirmation that she wasn't coming back? Is it when he got arrested for her disappearance, considered murder? Was that the confirmation? That's what I'm curious to know. Lord have mercy.
Kids looking to her for comfort. Their sister was gone. I can only imagine how my niece felt having to look at an empty bed day in and day out. My poor nephew struggled to cope with the fact that she was never coming back. I watched my sister stand still for almost 5 years. Her baby and grandbaby were gone without a trace. All the sleepless nights, the tears, the pain of not being able to give them a proper home going. The family dysfunction.
Yes, dysfunction. Is the family dysfunctional? You hear that they named the baby. The baby was given a name. Very interesting to me. So what I have to ask myself is the obvious question. Did the young girl tell her mother who the father was, whether it was the truth or not? Because if I know that you're pregnant, you've now given the baby a name. Do I know who the father is, or who you told me the father is? So what did the young girl tell her mother? When did she tell her mother she was pregnant? How far along into pregnancy did she tell her mom that she was pregnant? And is it the truth of whoever she told her mom the daddy was? Or did she even know? Because let's just say she was messing around with other boys. Because I did hear testimony, text messages where he was concerned about some guy that she liked or whatever. So that's why I asked the question, is it or was it even his baby? Because nobody can give verification because she's not here to say who the baby daddy was. And maybe she thought it was his. I'm just saying. Was it actually his kid? Because let's just say she was messing around with another guy or another guy. She didn't even know who the daddy was. She's messing with this guy. She just assume it was his. I don't know. But imagine if it wasn't his baby. Let's just go there. Hypothetical. Just imagine if he allegedly killed her because he thought she was having a baby and she's going to ruin his family, which makes no sense because there are text messages where he acted like he was happy that she was pregnant and wanting to feed her and talking about he's going to get her fat. So this is where I'm just confused at what the real motive was for killing her because it's contradictory. Number one, was he the father of her child? Number two, did she really know who the father of the child was? And imagine if indeed he wasn't the father and that was his motive for murdering her. You murdered her and it wasn't even your kid. See, nobody can tell the truth because the only person that knows the truth is she's no longer alive. And where is she? Was she taken to the dump? They say they searched but couldn't find her. Well, how long did you search for her in the debris? Because a baby in Savannah was searched for and they found him and he would have been much smaller than a 16-year-old girl. Just curious.
This tore our family apart. I had to sit back and watch my sister try to make it from one second to the next. There were no words of comfort we could offer. All we could do was be there. I had to take time off from work to try to get my mind right. Sometimes all I could do was cry. I had to hold on to my faith because that was my baby. I will never forget the many nights that I had to comfort my child. We were at an all-time low. I watched my family completely fall apart over the years. There were so many ups and downs. This loss left a hole in our hearts that can never be filled. How do we move forward as a family? We kept our faith and awaited our day in court. I sat in the courtroom every day and watched my family testify one by one. My heart broke all over again. It was not all for nothing. Justice was served. But how do we pick up the pieces knowing what we know now? We will never truly heal. How can we? Grace and mercy has carried us thus far, and we must hold on to his word. There are so many things we will never be able to do. We will never be able to meet Hazel, never get to see our princess as a mother. We will never see her go off to college. We will never see her get married. We will never see how great she would have truly been. We will never get to see her live. Now we are left with memories, a bunch of what ifs. What must live? We must live the remainder of our lives with a bunch of regrets, but because we can never turn back the hands of time. We must live with a constant reminder that our princess is gone. We must live with the guilt of knowing that even though we were our sister's keeper, she is no longer with us. That's a burden I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. We must now figure out how to proceed as a family going forward. How do we heal? How do we trust? How do we live given all that we've learned? The only answer I can come up with is by the grace of God. I know that my God is a faithful God. He will never leave us or forsake us, and he will never put more on us than we can bear. Justice is just the beginning of our healing process. We must now learn how to live with the unimaginable loss that we have suffered. I know our princess is still with us every time we see a rainbow, pink skies, or red cargo. We know she is there. I thank God for the 16 years that He allowed us to be in her presence. The world will never know how great she really was or could have been. She will live in our hearts forever.
Mercy.
I like to think of her as an angel that my God called. He needed her more than we did. The flesh wants us to hold on forever, but that's human nature. To my young boo, I love you unconditionally. You will take it from us too soon, but we will continue to honor your memory until we meet again. You are loved, and we miss you so much. If He brings you to it, He will bring you through it. I love you unconditionally. I don't know how, but we will get through this. Long live Princess Yaya and Princess Hazel. Thank you.
Wow.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Oof. Wow. The emotion pouring out of that courtroom and the witness box just at the beginning. The first witness in what is expected to be a 2-day penalty phase section of this case. Let's get a break in here and we'll see who's next. Stay with us.
Wow. Yeah. So we have to ask Jonathan, was it worth it? Obviously, a few people already suspected you were doing something with she and other children, girl children. I don't know if anybody ever confronted you about messing around with their children. But was it worth it? Because in the end, you were playing games with that little girl. You didn't have any business dealing with her anyway. So I don't understand why you would murder her. I'm confused.
Phase victim impact statement was the and. Now, Ayana's sister is on the stand.
Sorry about that. I'm confused. I'm confused at the text messages, the back and the forth, because it seems like, as I said, he was all over the place in his emotions for her, and he's sick and sadistic. Because if you were reading those text messages, you would think he was talking to somebody his own age. You would not think he's talking to a child, and a child that he was related to by marriage. You wouldn't think that. That's what's so disturbing about the text messages. He's talking to a child. You're this, you're that, you're dumb, duh. I was just like, this is crazy. Like you got two adults going back and forth. And then they were back to back, back to back, back to back. That shows you how sick he was, obsessed with her. And how are they going to be together? That's another thing. I heard some mention about her packing her clothes or her clothes being packed. See, even if she wanted to be with him, and at some point maybe he wanted to be with her, this is contradictory of murdering somebody. If you wanted to be with her, why would you kill her? And then two, how are you going to be with her without somebody putting out a missing persons report for their damn child? This was such a confusing case. That's why I didn't want to follow it, because when I started getting just little bit tidbits of it, I said, this is some utter nonsense. Just reading, listening to the text messages, I knew this dude was off, mentally off. Because you're conversing with a child and you're expecting to get results back. When one, you have the mind of a child and you're messaging a child. And you're expecting to get what in return? You can't get anything in return because she's a child. And 1 minute you like her and 1 minute you hate her. Then you murder her because she's going to ruin your life. I think that wife must have found out something. Because it can't be one day you're messaging her like you like her and want to take care of her and the baby, want to be with her. And then the next minute you're plotting to kill her. Something's very off with this. Very, very off with that case.
And are you the sister of Ayanna Sawyer?
Yes.
And did you provide a victim impact evidence statement?
Yes.
And Ms. Sawyer, will you please read it verbatim to the jury?
Yes. From now until the day I perish, there will always be an element of my life that will be permanently missing. That element is Ayanna Sawyer. Our lives were so intertwined, everywhere we went, we were asked if we were twins. In fact, you would rarely see one Sawyer sister without the other. However, now you would never see me or my sister together. Ayanna was my older little sister. She was so childish she could make you laugh at the most inappropriate times. But that's what made her so special. She was the beam of sunlight that could peek through a hurricane. We could be grounded all weekend, and yet she would still make it feel like it was a normal day. Ayanna was extremely intelligent. She wanted to be a pediatrician. We planned on going to college and becoming physicians together. We planned our lives around each other so much, we even decided that each of us would live on opposite sides of the riverwalk with apartments facing each other. Unfortunately now, I'm completing those same milestones by myself. With every accomplishment bringing great sadness, for every congratulations, the thought that I should not be my mother's first child to graduate, attend college, or move into an apartment crosses my mind. It's extremely difficult to step into my childhood bedroom and see one bed where there used to be two. Every loving memory that I have of my sister has always been overshadowed by the fact that memories will be all that I could carry with me in life. I'm always saddened by the fact that I will never be able to hear her voice, argue over whose shirts is whose, know her daughter Hazel, or see the beautiful woman and mother she would have become. After the announcement of my sister's disappearance and death, school became another place of torment for me. Every day, people who I have never met and who I have never seen before would approach me and ask if that dead girl was my sister. There would be times where I would randomly have to leave school to go downtown to the police station. There were so many occasions where there was little to no notice, and most instances I would be there late into the night. Still, even that did not compare to the misery I endured within those school walls. There would be days where I could not fathom the thought of walking through school doors. On those days, I would sit in the car until the end of the school day and just cry. However, when the 2 o'clock bell rang, I had to compose myself as if I was not in disarray, so my younger brother did not see the mental instability the situation has forced upon me. As I now have to be their source of comfort, just as Ayanna was for me. On numerous occasions, the dismissal process from school would be a battle in itself, as media stations would linger to report their stories on my sister's disappearance. Throughout the time Ayanna has been gone, day by day, individuals have questioned my mother's parenting. It's very difficult as a teenager to see those who have only read about my mother's question how she raised my siblings and I. Might I add, my mother was and is still an exceptional mother. I remember nights seeing my mother crying on her closet floor, blaming herself for Ayanna's devastating loss. There's nothing that I can do ever to lift that burden from my mother, but assure her that it was not her hands that caused Ayanna to no longer walk this earth with us. As if it was yesterday, there will always be an image engraved in my mind of my mother walking through the front door with bloodshot eyes. That was the night my brothers and I were informed of Ayanna's passing. Seeing my mother never agree to make sure that her children could grieve will forever weigh heavy on my heart. As I think about how my family has changed forever, I think about how my fiancé would never meet the sister I speak so highly of. My sister would not be my bridesmaid at my wedding, or the fact that our future children will never be able to play together. My family will forever have an empty space that can never be filled by anything or anyone. Some nights I have vivid dreams of my sister, as if it was a normal day that we would spend together. But then I am forced to open my eyes and realize that it will only ever be a dream. All I can ever do is cry and wait for the day I will see her again. Then there are other nights where nightmares are endless. The disappearance of my sister has caused me a great deal of mental instability. I just can't understand how someone who is loved and caring life herself can be thrown away as if they were trash.
I don't know why.
And that was her sister. Sound like a very well-rounded young lady speaking. So we have to ask the obvious questions. How many children has he assaulted? How many children ever reported him? How many people denied the allegations and did nothing? You hear the young girl speak about her mother being mother blaming herself and people judging her for her parenting. Did she parent her children properly? Did she ignore the signs? Was she a lax parent? Let her children, run around, do whatever they want, not implement any discipline or structure, because these things will lead to destruction of a child. You can also implement structure, reprimand your children, give them chores, have rules, and they still can disobey you because they do have a mind of their own. But at some point, somebody has to take responsibility for a child. You cannot let a child run amok. You cannot let a child do what he or she wants to do, say what they want to do, because in the end, they have to eventually grow up and they have to leave the nest. So they have to have something to be able to take out into the world. So was she a good mother? The young lady here says she was exceptional. Mother laid in the floor in the closet, crying, blaming herself. I should say so. Because I'm sure she backtracked in her mind her own parenting skills, what she did wrong, could have done better. The times the child was out of sight. Where was she? Well, she now knows. With a damn man. And that has to be very hard to digest. My child was with a man doing grown folks things. Got pregnant. Allegedly, he was the father. That has to be a lot to digest. And I'm wondering if she knew he was the father, never told anybody. They're saying that nobody knew. The little girl hid it from family members. Naturally, she would. That's why I said, who is going to tell the truth? Yeah, I'm playing around with a kid having sex. Yeah, I'm chasing a kid. Yeah, I'm pregnant by a man, my aunt's husband. Who's going to tell that? That's why I said this whole situation was going to have to come to a head some type of way. All the back and forth, the texting, the arguing, the bickering with a child. That had to also be overwhelming for a child to be trying to play an adult, messing with a man, and then also trying to like other boys. Then boom, you're pregnant. Naming the baby. Who knew the truth? That was a grown man's child. They've been having sex. I got a feeling somebody knew it was more than just inappropriate hugging. So I'd like to know who knew the truth about their relationship. Because there were a lot of things I believe came out during this trial about sex being overheard in a room, if I'm not mistaken. So I believe somebody else knew. I believe that. This is a tragedy. And sadly, this type of behavior will continue because we will continue to have sadists. We will continue to have dirty birds that fancy children who will follow along and get wrapped up with grown men, women. We continue to have people in authoritative positions such as teachers, mentors, relatives, baiting kids, grooming kids. It won't stop. And I don't understand how anybody can fancy a child. How can you be an adult and fancy a child? Makes no sense to me. How you can look at a child and say, I'm attracted to her. Like this man, he was married. So how would you look at her and fancy her? Because what they're doing is they're looking at the looks, they're looking at the body. And the body may resemble a woman, but she was not a woman, she was a child. And you have to have self-control. Even if you're a woman and you're looking at a boy and he looks like a man, it doesn't matter. If he has facial hair, he's tall, he's muscular, and he looks like a man. Well, he ain't a man. He may have the body of a man, but he has the mind of a child. And it doesn't matter if he acts mature, he is still a child. And he can be 18, 20, 22, and he still will behave as a child. Checkmate. Because guess what? They're 40, 50, and still behave as children. Act as children. Talk as children. Whine and cry as children. So how in the fuck you think you're going to lay up with a baby and get an adult in return? You won't. And I have no empathy for you. And it is time to lock them up and throw away the key. Because you have no right to be walking free after you have been touching, fondling, penetrating a child. That's the bottom damn line. And I don't give a damn if you are a woman. The rules need to change for the women as well. Because women usually do not get stiffer sentences for sleeping with babies, children, boys, girls. It needs to stop. You give a man harsh time, you give a woman the same amount of time. You have no right to let nobody walk free that messes with children. Having sex, making babies with them. Are you serious? No stipulations on finding out when someone's been accosted by a grown-up. It should be just like murder. We find out you killed somebody, you go to trial. We find out you've been touching children, penetrating children, you go to trial. No statute of limitations on rape. That was the stupidest lie I'd ever heard of. Oh, 4 years gone by, sorry. Oh, okay. So you're just going to let the people walk by raping children and raping women, men, and because it's 4 or 5 years, 6 years, 10, whatever the damn number is, sorry. Teachers, priests, oh, sorry. But it's okay to go get somebody 20, 30 years that murdered somebody. You got evidence, DNA. Jack the Ripper, this person. Oh, let's go find him. Oh, the DNA matches. Let's go arrest him. But it's okay to rape kids. It's okay to rape a woman, crawl in a window and rape an old lady. What the hell is wrong with this country? That is the worst, sick, disgusting thing you could send to the universe. I'll chase a murderer for life, but I won't chase a rapist or a child molester. Who gives a fuck that somebody's out here accosting you, raped you in your sleep, raped you in your house, raped you at school? The timeline is past. Sorry you got to walk by your child, your child molester, your rapist. Sorry you're worrying about sleeping at night and fear for your safety in your own house. You're afraid to have the lights off. Sorry you're scared to have relationships with men because you've been raped. Gang rape. Sorry. Well, sorry ain't good enough. And everybody wants to be a politician and talk about laws and what we're going to change and what we're going to do. Do the damn obvious. No stipulations. Assault, rape, murder, attempted murder, they're all the same. No passes. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $ the Gandhi, 129, Cash App, stickers and chats of luck within the live stream. Next subject matter is Miss Tamia Taylor. Let's get down to business. A body has been recovered in the Mississippi River. Before I get to that, I just found a notification in the YouTube queue pertaining to Mr. Jonathan Quilles. Let's hear from what the family has to say to the jury's. Let's see, what was that? Oh, that's from when they found him guilty. I'll play it anyway. I thought it was something about the him getting life or whatever. But let's backtrack just a quick second before I talk about Tamia.
Action News Jackson Ed Gutierrez is live in front of the Duval County Courthouse, and Ned, the family says justice was finally served.
Yes, it was. Iona Sawyer's family says whether it was the death penalty
or
life in prison, they are just happy to know that Jonathan Quilles is off the streets and suffering consequences. Now, as I mentioned, the death penalty was on the table, but after about an hour and a half of deliberation, the jurors made a unanimous decision to recommend life in prison without the possibility of parole.
It's very overwhelming, but it's a very joyous feeling. It's been almost 5 years coming, and justice has finally been served.
After more than 2.5 weeks, jurors in the Jonathan Quilles murder trial officially finished their duty. Last week, Quilles was found guilty of all charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder in the raping and killing of Iona Sawyer, who was his 16-year-old niece. She was pregnant when she was killed in December 2018. Wow. Investigators never found her body after they say Quilles left it in a dumpster. But today, they unanimously recommended Jonathan Quilles be sentenced to life in prison instead of the death penalty.
We, the jury, find Jonathan Quilles should be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Iona Sawyer's aunt, Paula Dixon, said they will never have closure, but they have comfort knowing Quilles won't be able to do this to anyone else.
So are we satisfied? Completely. His death will do nothing for us. It won't bring our loved one back. It'll never cover what we cost. So he can live the rest of his life knowing that he did not get away with what he did to our family.
Nobody won in this case at all.
Quilles' defense lawyers say they respect the jury's decision
and
realize Iona Sawyer's family won't ever be the same.
The victim's family has to go through this with no one and knowing that they've lost their loved one.
Sawyer's family is still grieving and are asking for privacy and prayers, but they are thankful to everyone who helped in this case.
There's no words that we can express to show our gratitude for what everyone has done to bring justice to our family.
And the judge has set the status hearing for this Thursday at 1:30 p.m. And that's when Jonathan Quilles will find out when he will be sentenced. For local coverage you can count on, live in the courthouse, Annette Gutierrez, Action News Jax.
All right. Well, he's gotten life, and hopefully the family can move on. I really would like to hear from the mother. A lot of these storylines you hear from aunties and a spokesperson and a advocate. When it comes to missing people, decedents, I like to hear from the parent. I understand in the beginning you may be too distraught to speak because your child is missing or they find your child deceased or what, whichsoever. But at some point, I believe you should speak. You should speak about your child missing. You should speak about your child being found dead. You should speak when your child's killer is arrested. You should speak when your child killer has received his or her sentence. That's my personal opinion. At some point, people want to hear from you. People want to see you speak. We don't care that you're going to break down and cry or you holler. I expect that from you. I would hope that you would. But that's what people want to hear is some emotion from family members. And I'm not going to speak on this case here per se, but I'm going to speak on something that I know of in my own demographic. I find it strange that a mother never speaks to the news about her child missing. It's always somebody else speaking. Why can't you speak about your child missing? Whether the child is grown or not. I find that strange to me. This is why I keep trying to tell you all, there's a lot of things I can't speak on because I live here. That's why I talk about a lot of other stories and not stories that's in my demographic. A lot of times I don't give you my real opinion on a story here locally because I don't want no problems. And somebody running up to me talking crazy about what I said on a YouTube channel. But there's some things I have seen in certain cases in this area that their relatives are strange acting to me. Just strange acting to me. Their behavior is strange. And sometimes I wonder, do you even care about your loved one being missing and or deceased? Yeah, I'm going to say that. Because I've seen some stuff that's just not copacetic. And I'm going to go ahead and throw that out here while we're talking about this. Because that's something that some of you don't get to see because you're not talking to the people. You're not talking to them in Messenger. You're not talking to them on the phone. You're not seeing their reactions on stuff. You're not paying attention to every story. There's just some stuff I've seen here locally that's, oh, Lord have mercy. Don't make no damn sense to me. And that makes me not even want to talk about the story. You understand what I'm saying? Because some people tell me, well, why you don't talk about these stories here, that, near here? And I say, because I have to live here. I have to be able to walk around. And if I was to give you the business on some of the things that I've noticed, I would be a fucking moving target. But I'm just saying, for the record, there's just some behavior I've seen that's just weird to me. Don't want to talk. Don't want to say anything. Like I always tell the people, you don't have to show your face. You can give commentary on the subject. Just like when I bring you up on the panel, you don't have to show yourself. But we can put on for Channel 10 and WATE News. And I get it. You pick and choose who you want to give your version to about your family member. That is your choice, your prerogative. But you would think a person say, well, I know of her. She has a YouTube channel. She, advocates for the missing, deceased. She talks about various subject matter. I don't mind talking to her to tell her, hey, my sister missing, my brother missing, whatever. Why not get the word out? But that is their prerogative. But I will say I have seen some not so great behavior from some of you from behind closed doors, that stuff I've seen and heard that the general public don't know about. That you all have acted like donkey asses to people who were trying to help. Why, I don't know. But then you put on for the major news network like you're in mourning. Yeah, I'm going to say that. Because guess what? There's a new bitch in town. And I ain't pulling no more punches with nobody else. I'm saying what I feel now. You people are funny to me. So that's why I'm making this commentary about the mother of this child. Let the people know how you feel, honey. Don't worry about us judging you. Because in the end, we ain't going to have to stand account for anything that you've done, not done, aided. That's between you and God. But people like to hear from a parent. They want to know that you care for your child. Because when you have true crime stories, you do get a lot of gossip from Facebook, Snapchat, people who've been around people, been around the situation, may have some idea what went on. And we as outsiders, we don't know. And sometimes people, yes, jump on board of the first gossip they get. That's why I try not to bring that Facebook gossip into my commentary, because it can distort a storyline before you even get to the truth. Tamia Taylor is next. Thank you for joining me. One hour, 23 minutes in. I didn't plan on going that long on one topic, but it is what it is. Channel 3 News is the source, WREG. Tamia Taylor's family awaits body ID, demands accountability. Yes, who's going to stand account for what happened to this young lady? Will we get to the truth? The golf cart guy, do you believe what he had to say pertaining to seeing her after the boat docked? This is very important. Do you believe his version? Number one, did he see her and the three friends, two ladies and a guy? If they left that dock, where did they go? Where was Tamia's car? Did anybody drive the car after the fact? This is what the queen wants to know. Because see, there's a lot missing that we ain't hearing. Who is the body of the person found in the Mississippi River? DNA has been extracted yesterday morning. As I mentioned that yesterday in the live, Have they reached out to the mother for DNA? Yes, they have. Let's get down to it, everybody.
Members of Tamia Taylor are anxiously awaiting for officials to identify a woman's body that was recovered from the Mississippi River over the weekend. WRG's Bria Jones continues our coverage, talking with a family member about this painstaking process. Bria, what did they have to say?
Well, Greg, Memphis activist Devontae Hill is Tamia Taylor's cousin. Now, tonight he says there are three big questions. Is this Tamia's body? What happened to her? And who is responsible?
My heart just grieves for Tamia's experience that night. It just seemed as if no one cared about Tamia's life.
It's been more than 2 weeks since 21-year-old Tamia Taylor disappeared while celebrating her milestone birthday on a midnight cruise along the Mississippi River. Now, a new possible development. A woman's body recovered from the river Saturday afternoon in Crenton County, Arkansas.
No, what did she say? Wait. Did she say a woman?
Mississippi River. Now, a new possible development. A woman's birthday on a midnight cruise along the Mississippi River. Now, a new possible development. A woman's body recovered from the river Saturday afternoon in Crenton County, Arkansas. WREG was the first crew on the scene as Memphis Police Chief C.J. Davis crossed state lines to assist in the investigation.
We don't know if this was Tamia's body, and then secondly, if it is, we don't know if she was dumped there, if she was placed there, she was put there, or did she wash up on the water?
Memphis activist Devontae Hill is Taylor's cousin.
Very good question.
He says through it all, Tamia's mother, Deborah Taylor, is holding on to hope.
She's just a beacon of courage for a lot of people who just don't know what to do or say in this moment.
WREG has learned DNA samples from Taylor's mother were taken this morning to identify the body found in the river. As results are pending, Taylor's whereabouts remain unknown after traveling with 3 friends from the Jackson, Tennessee area to downtown Memphis.
We need to know what happened to Tamia, and someone needs to be held accountable for their negligence that night.
Have you all had any contact with those 3 friends or coworkers she went to the boat with?
I have a hard time calling these individuals friends. I cannot go to the bathroom, get alone the bathroom.
Okay, the reporter asked you, did you have contact, sir, with the friends? You didn't answer, or they didn't show that part of the video? So I'm going to ask. As an advocate, and obviously speaking on behalf of the family, sir, did you have contact with these individuals? Have you reached out to these individuals? Number one, has the mother reached out to these individuals? Have they reached out to her? Are they continuously talking to one another? The 3 people who are on the ship with her co-workers, and her mother, are they cooperating with the police? Let's go there.
Inebriated without my cell phone, and my friends leave me when we came together.
Hill says he's also questioning why there weren't cameras on the boat.
You cannot take people into the middle of the Mississippi River and have no cameras. If anything goes wrong, no one sees it. It's the perfect crime scene.
Exactly.
Hill says that the family is currently awaiting a call from MPD to come and identify the body right now. We don't have a timeline on how long that process could take. But I'm reporting live downtown, Bria Jones, WREG News Channel 3.
All right. Thank you all for your commentary. News 3 is the source. Everybody, welcome to the Vault XL Part 2, Tamia Taylor. So much to chop up from this commentary. Number one, is the body that of Tamia Taylor? DNA samples have been taken of the mother, the biological mother. 2, she will have to identify the remains found in the water at the Arkansas lab, crime lab, I guess. So when will that happen? Did it happen yesterday evening, or will it happen today? When will we get confirmation? These are the questions I asked during yesterday's live. I said, was DNA asked from the mother? Did they send her pictures of the decedent, or will they call her down to view the body? How horrific that must be. To take that ride to Arkansas to go into a room to see if this is your dead child. This is horrific. The body being in the water 2 weeks. Warm water, possibly cool in the bottom, of course, but nonetheless, still water. Water can do as much damage as the outside decaying of a body. What will the medical official learn from the body? As this gentleman said, was she placed there or washed up from being pushed and or thrown overboard, fell over accidentally? What happened to this young lady? A person made a very derogatory comment pertaining to this case. Ain't nothing happened to her. They ain't done nothing to her. Those people ain't done nothing to her. Well, sir, do you know something that we don't know? Because you know, Queen sure enough replied to your comment. Do you know something about Tamia Taylor and her friends, co-workers that we don't know? Enlighten us. Oh, they were all drunk. Oh, well, let's talk about that for a second. Because I'm the one you don't want. Because I'm breathing. And they breathing, Negro. So what the hell are you saying? They were all drunk. What? They were horse playing? Well, let's go there then. They were horse playing. She fell in. Nobody thought to call the captain and say, stop the damn boat. I ain't what you want, bruh. What did I say yesterday? Help, help, help. My friend fell in the water. Help. Somebody stop the boat. Stop the boat. Get a life preserver. My friend fell in the water. That's how that goes. You see, either way, since you know so damn much, somebody knows something. Because we got different versions of a cell phone. Going to the bathroom, she left the phone. Now she went to the bathroom, her phone's found near the bathroom. Near where? On the floor, in the chair, in a light fixture, what? Hanging on a string? Help me out. Now we got a golf cart driver saying, well, I saw her with 2 females and 1 male. Hello, Amatola. I want to talk to you, baby. I'll drop the link for you, sweetie, if you can come on up and give me your commentary after I get done. Is he telling the truth? You go in the comment section, somebody got something to say about him. Oh, he knows more. He knows more. He knows what? Oh, I believe he the one that tried to buy the drink. Well, let me think about that for just a second. As I said yesterday, please check out my live stream yesterday pertaining to Tamia Taylor, where I definitely give you the business. Honey, are you following the story? He can't be the damn driver and on the boat. Make it make sense. See, this is why I hate when people comment and they don't follow the script. Listen to the story first, then give your comment. He can't be the golf driver, taxi service, and be in the line as well. So which is it? Oh, I believe that guy that offered her the drink, that's the golf cart driver. He knows too much about her. Well, what is it that he knows? Bring a receipt. Let me tell you something about people. You tend to remember something more if it sticks out to you, such as a person was walking down the street with a blue dress and hot pink shoes. Somebody's drunker than Cooter Brown and falling all over their damn self. Throwing up. Do you see where I'm going with that? When things are more obvious, they stick out. And when people are extremely inebriated, drunk, that would possibly stick out to you. So this is what I was trying to figure out last week when I heard commentary about the golf cart guy, and I hadn't yet heard his commentary on the news. I said, did he see her before with these people or after the boat docked, or both? Which is it? The commentary I'm going to play again states he saw her with these people after the boat docked. Now, allegedly, he told the news he saw them initially before the boat docked and they needed a ride, but he could not take them. Fast forward hours later, boat has docked. Allegedly, he has seen Tamia and the three friends, associates, whichsoever. After the boat is docked, offered them a ride, they declined. So I'm going to ask this question again. Sir, did you see all four parties before the boat left the dock? Did you or did you not give them a ride to the damn boat? Number two, when the boat docked, did you, sir, see Tamia and the three other parties together? And she was inebriated. That is what you're saying for the record. Let's hear his own words. Lolo is more than crazy. It's all just a bunch of bullshit. This is a bullshit story. And I don't know who's all involved, who knows what. I'm not here to make any allegations against anybody, but it's a bullshit story, and I'll leave it at that. This is just a bad situation. We're going to talk about the migrant situation here shortly because I'm trying to figure out what's going on here in America with all these migrants in Texas. Now we have the New York governor complaining. What should be done about this new problem with migrants coming into our country? Oh, I done passed it up. Hold on, you guys. A day ago, I asked you all, please take the poll on my community page along with the other polls. A body was recovered in the Mississippi River on Arkansas side. The remains are that of Tamia Taylor. What do you think happened to her? 3% said she jumped. 18% fell off by accident. Pushed, 11%. Harmed on the boat, then discarded, 58%. And then left boat, met foul play, discarded in river, 11%. So 58% of you believe she was harmed on the boat and then discarded. Very interesting. Also, a day ago, I showed you a picture of the boat. And yes, that second level, which sits under the captain's booth, you see the fenced in part of the seating area, but then there's a walking plank around it where I don't see a fence. I know I can see very well. And you can feel free to blow that picture up.
Please just give us whatever information you may think is not important. It may be more important than you think.
Such a desperate plea from a mother of a missing woman. She says her daughter, Tamia Taylor, went missing after a booze cruise on the Mississippi River late Saturday night, celebrating her 21st birthday. Today, our cameras were rolling when officers were on site at Memphis Riverboats off of Riverside Drive.
Now that's where we find Fox 13's Jack Bilyeu live right now. Jack, tell us what you saw today.
We saw officers coming and going from the docks here all day. Meanwhile, those cruises just kept going. Now, take a look down there. In a statement, the company said they have no reason to believe that Taylor went over.
Did he say the cruises kept going? I missed that. So while a person has washed up in the Mississippi River on the Arkansas side, do not know if it is Tamia, and if it is, how she got in the water, you're still operating as usual. So what I got to ask, do you have cameras on the boat now? Boats, plural. Do you have cameras on the dock site? Adequate lighting now? And why didn't you have it before? Will this lady sue if indeed this is her daughter? Because as this advocate says, how are you going to be out in the middle of the water with no damn cameras in case a crime happens? This is bullshit. They are responsible. They need to take accountability. Because these people paid their money to get on the boat. And anything could jump off. I was thinking about that today. Anything could jump off while somebody's on a damn boat. Somebody could get on there, rob the people, get the boat back to dock, jump off and run. They got all the people's jewelry. Do they have security on the boat? Two-legged creatures. Did they have security that night? If so, how many? Armed guards or actual police officers that were off duty? Or just random blokes you hire as security? Stay woke. Random strangers as security, hired security officers with guns, and or off-duty police officers, sheriff's officials. Do they have security on their boats? If so, how many? And as you hear this man speaking here, they're filming a news broadcast while boats are going up and down the damn water. I'm dead.
Board, but harbor patrol boats circled the area anyway.
This is a very painful situation. This is very painful.
Memphis police in uniform and plain clothes were all over the Memphis riverboat's dock. Harbor patrol boats floated alongside one of the cruises while it made its trip. But it's not just the police investigating. Taylor's family's running an investigation of their own. Their calls for information got them this image, a screen grab from a video taken on the deck of a riverboat where Taylor's seen standing in the background. It also got them a witness who claims he saw her on dry land after the cruise. You saw her off that boat.
Yeah.
Their search for answers got them in touch with Jay Munn, a golf cart taxi driver who says he saw Tamia Taylor with two women and a man after her cruise returned to port.
But she was intoxicated, and she was, very intoxicated, and she was with some other people.
He says he offered the group a ride, but they turned him down and headed south on Riverside Drive on foot.
She walked away, and she walked toward Tom Lee Park.
Munn says he didn't think much of it at the time and headed off to find another fare. But days later, he saw her pictures and heard what had happened. He says the moment it all clicked was surreal.
Hey, maybe I've seen this person for the last time.
He says he wishes he'd known that night what he knows now, that maybe things would be different.
My heart go out to the family. I just, wish it was something more that could have been done. Or, but hindsight is 20/20.
Memphis police is urging anyone with information on the case to reach out to either the Memphis Police Department or Crime Stoppers.
That is Fox 13's Jack Bilyeu live tonight. Jack, thank you.
If you need a source, Fox 13 Memphis. What do you mean, sweetheart? If you guys do those boats, you would shake your head. Meaning what? The boat doesn't look safe. The captain doesn't look professional. So let's go there. Is everything on the up and up pertaining to the ownership of the boats, the running of the boats, certifications of the boat, certifications of the captain maneuvering the boat? Is everybody certified to operate the boat? All licenses are above board? Is everything legal pertaining to the operation of these river boats? You see, my thing is this. I don't trust nothing sitting on top of water. That's just who I am. I cannot swim. And I don't care for water, except for taking a bath or a shower. That's it. That's enough. I don't know you. I don't know the safety of the boat. I don't know when the last time it was checked, maintenance. So you have to ask all those questions. See, we take for granted basic things in life, such as where we live. Do you have smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors? Have you had your house checked for mold? See, stuff you don't even think about. Asbestos. Is the structure safe? Do you live near sinkholes? Are you on a sinkhole? Stay woke. So now factor in you're on a damn TikTok ass boat. Platoon boat, little boat, rowboat. It's all the same to me. Is it safe? The person operating, do they know what they're doing? Have they had a joint, some reefer, some meth? Oh, you don't think about that because you high your damn self and drunk. Want to party? I'm ready to party, girl. Come on, girl. We're going to party tonight. We on a riverboat. I don't give a damn who's running this boat. Mickey Mouse could be up there running it. I don't care. I don't care if it was checked 5 days ago, 12 days ago, got a bad check, engine ain't running properly. You better pay attention. See, you got to be aware of your faculties. And being on top of water is where you definitely want to be aware of your faculties. You want to be aware of the people you are with on a boat. You want to be aware of the person driving the boat. Now you're in darkness. So it's even worse. Do you really want to be on a TikTok boat in the middle of a damn river and people are drinking? As somebody said in the chat, in one of the comment sections under the video, it's a recipe for disaster because anything can jump off on a boat, whether it was a smaller boat, a river boat. Somebody get to fighting, crying, moaning. Somebody pull a gun out. People get to running. Somebody can just start throwing folks over. See? Too open for the queen. One moment, please. I'm going to drop the link. Just 1 second, please. You're now listening to part 2 of this live stream pertaining to Tamia Taylor. She went missing 2 weeks ago on a river cruise in Memphis, Tennessee. Her body has been recovered on the Arkansas side of the Mississippi River. Her mother will give DNA samples, if not already, and she will be asked to identify the remains found from that river. Is it Tamia Taylor? If it is she, what happened to her? Was she thrown over, pushed over, jumped off? If so, by whom and why? Number 2. boat docked. She got off, left with those people, left on her own, left with somebody else, and ended up in the river by what means? Golf cart driver says he saw her after the fact of the boat docking. Allegedly docked at 1:35 a.m. Sunday morning. Did this young lady make it off that boat? If so, how did she end up in the state of Arkansas? Did she meet foul play with these people? Altercation, fight, disagreement. She jumped in the water, fell in the water, was mad, walked off, drove off. What happened to her? Will we get to the truth? Accountability from the river crews. They claim she was on the boat before it docked. Bring a receipt. Pictures of her on the boat. But that has nothing to do with her washing up in Arkansas. Bring a receipt. Will somebody have to put their foot in her mouth about the claims of her being on the boat when it docked? Because the picture of her on the boat could be 5 minutes before it docked. She still could have went overboard. Accident, wouldn't you tell the captain, stop the boat, stop the boat. My friend has fallen over. Make it make sense.
Hey, Vault. Can you hear me?
Yes, sweetheart, I can.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for joining me. What do you have to say about this new information of a body being found in Arkansas?
Okay, so Arkansas is like
right next door.
Yeah. So she could have just washed up on that side.
Of course. They say it's only a few miles down, so
yeah, if it's that. But the what I was trying to say in the chat, the boats they're not. I wouldn't approach them.
Okay.
I wouldn't get on them.
Okay.
The bank has not been touched in so long. So very long. It's pebbles down there for you to walk on. It's not anything smooth.
Okay.
There are rats the size of
I'm sure they love water, they say.
Yeah, they're the size of tomcats.
Right.
How you get on and off the boat is very not stable.
Okay.
There's not good lighting at all down there.
Well, that's what the guy said on this other young lady's channel. He has an apartment building. He lives in an apartment building, high rise, facing the dock, and he said that there's no lighting down there.
It's not, and there are no cameras down there.
Okay.
And then even if she was walking towards, I know it's hard for you guys probably to visualize with me talking, but the bank runs along the side of Tom Lee Park where she was headed toward. That's where he say he saw her walking towards Tom Lee Park.
So that would be more like an upper level, right? Up top.
Yeah.
Street.
So the bank would go up. It's like grassy. It's not like you got steps or anything. It's like grassy when you go up there. They're working on Tom Lee Park. They just opened it. But it's still a drop. It's like a big old hill and a drop.
Okay. That's okay. I think that
yeah, so I don't know. But it's not.
So really it needs to have something built appropriate for walking downward to the dock, like steps.
Well, there's some raggedy step. It just needs to be updated. And those pebbles.
But that's the whole point. Why not?
If you drunk, you gonna fall. You gonna fall.
Okay.
You're gonna fall. I'm not saying fall into the water, but it's just pebbles down there that you walk on, the big old huge pebbles.
And that's dangerous. That's dangerous. Women wearing high heels and things like that.
Yeah, so it's unstable. And it's so dark. That's a perfect place for
that's what this guy said.
Yeah, it's a perfect place for a crime.
Yeah. See, because that's what we have to ask ourselves. If it's so dark getting off the boat, how do you know somebody didn't swoop her up and walk her off in another direction? Because I don't know how it's set up down there, so I can't say who would see somebody walk off. Is it a place to park your car down there?
So where you parking and you got to think about it, you have to walk up a hill.
So that's what we're trying to understand. Yeah, is there nowhere to park the car? So where do the people park the car that work the damn boat?
So they park their cars on President Island. So President Island is like
where she was fucking found.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's not good.
Yeah, that's where they will park their cars. But the people that's trying to get on the boat, it's like you got Mud Island right there and some parking right there. It used to be called part of Mud Island, but it's not. It's its own.
Give me a time. Give me a. So explain to me how I would get my car on that island.
Oh, so you have to go up. You have to go around Mud Island, and it's a little passageway street. You'll go down there, and then it'll take you to President Island.
Can I go by foot or by car or both?
You can go by foot. It's gonna take you a while, but you probably want to go by car.
Okay, so I'm not. Maybe
it's a lot of factories.
What I'm saying is,
it's a lot of factories there.
But if I park my car, why am I going to want to walk far to my job on the boat?
So if you park your car, first of all, if you're a pedestrian, you're not parking your car on President Island. You can't get in without a badge.
Okay.
That you work there. So they most likely parked their car on Mud Island.
Okay.
So
I think they said Bill Street is what the boy said.
Well, if it was Bill Street, she went way past where the bank is, because Bill Street is all the way down. You gotta go through Mud Island and then get to Bill Street.
Okay, hey, Leslie, I thought that's what he said.
She might have did. They might have. It's her birthday, so they could have went to Bill Street. And
that's what he said. We went to Bill Street. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when they got on the boat. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to understand this island business. If the people work on the boat, they gotta have somewhere to park their car. I need a timeline though. I need a minute. How many minutes is it? And am I walking or? See, this is where I'm confused.
Oh, you're asking, are you walking from, if you park your car?
Yeah, am I walking from the island to the dock?
You can walk, but most of the time they take a cart.
What?
If you walk, it might take you 2-3 minutes to get to the boat that you're working on, because the dock is right there.
Because that's where that's why I have to have a visual. Because it won't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? I have to see. Because you got to make it all make sense, because we don't have no information.
I'm gonna tell you a good place to go to see picture. You can Google the Memphis new bridge. That's our bridge. It looks like the M and it has the lights on it.
Okay.
You can basically see President Island right there, and you can see the bank right there in the water.
I'm gonna try to Google too a YouTube video of the area, because a lot of people like to do the little site touring and stuff, and maybe somebody can show us walking, touring, what it looks like to get a visual.
You can probably Google Memphis Riverboat dock, and it'll show you how you get on and dock on there. Yeah. But
I'd rather have a YouTube video that way I can share it on my community page to the fans so they can get an idea. Okay, I want you to think about this question somebody has in the chat. What if it's not her? Where could she be if he really saw her? See, this is why I said, if that ain't that girl,
I don't know.
This will be a hot ass mess.
We are very Memphis. I live in Cordova. It's about 30 minutes from Memphis. It's a suburb of Memphis.
Okay.
We are a very, 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 very high crime place.
Yes, I know that. You know
very. So it is a great possibility that it could not be her, and it could be somebody else.
Exactly. That's from what I brought 2 weeks ago with the girl who was found burned. I ain't heard no more about her. And then the other girl who was found dead on Airport Road. Somebody's done a piece about that. You don't know. That's the point. You don't know what's tied to what.
And then she wasn't from Memphis. She was from Cleveland.
Okay.
So she's in an unfamiliar place.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat said that people with her were from Chicago. I said, well, I haven't heard anything about them being from Chicago. But I said, what does that have to do with the fact that she just moved to her town? So you got to factor all that in, because we don't know her and we don't know these kids. We don't know any of these people.
But somebody got to know. When I say somebody has to know something, because even if it's dark and you're with a group of people, somebody look back and says she ain't there. Where is she? Or whatever. But I just don't think that everybody's telling the truth.
Let me pose this to the chat then. Let's say the golf cart. Okay, let me start this. Do you believe the golf cart guy before I say this next thing?
I do.
So let's go here. If you believe the golf cart guy, if the golf cart guy's telling the truth, these people have something to do with her death, it would make sense now for you to make up the versions about the phone and her going to the bathroom.
Now let me say this. If you're talking about Memphis, no, it don't. Because Memphis is a whole different atmosphere to itself. They will stick with their lie. Stick with their
No,
lie.
I'm saying it would make sense that they would make up, I'm saying, versions about her phone and her going to the bathroom. If they have something to do with it, I'm saying.
Him seeing her does not mean she had a phone with her. Doesn't mean she had a phone with her.
No, baby, what I'm saying is, listen, I guess you're not understanding what I'm saying. If I'm behind hurting you is what I'm saying, I will make up a version about you going to the bathroom. You see what I'm saying? And that I went and looked for you and didn't see you to make it look like you vanished or somebody took you. Because the boy is saying, I think somebody snatched her. That's his words.
That's his words.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, if the golf cart guy saw them together after the boat dock, it would make sense for them to make up, oh, we were all on the boat together and she went to the restroom and we never saw her again. Now you follow me?
But he said he saw her after that it docked. So
I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying, but what
I'm making up something because I know I'm the reason she's not here. Exactly. So I've got to make up something, make it seem like she got missing on the boat.
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
Okay, yeah, okay.
But I'm talking about people that's going. Well, maybe I should have said it like this. But anybody with common sense is going to tear that scenario apart because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but you got to remember, if I'm the killer, I ain't gonna have no sense.
No, you're not. Most of the time they don't.
Yeah, I'm thinking about covering my ass. I ain't worried about what you think. The version I'm giving, because guess what? They already know now ain't no cameras on the boat. Now you see what I'm saying? They know ain't no camera.
They knew that when they got on the boat.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
When they went down there, they knew it was pitch black.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Is what it is. They knew that.
So if I know all of that, and I done got this girl missing while mid-cruise, hell yeah, I can make up a story and say, yeah, she went to the bathroom and left her phone, blah, 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 then changed it again. Oh, found the phone over here. And we left because we didn't see or hear nothing else because I know you ain't got no camera to prove otherwise.
Yeah, but that's real stupid. You left. You left or you came with her, so you left without her?
Yeah. Because she got gone.
Yeah, I don't know. If it's her body... And we so slow in Memphis. I know everybody said, what's taking so long? But they're so slow in Memphis.
But see, right now, Memphis don't have the upper hand. It's Arkansas.
It does, but they're going to have to bring it over here. They're going to have the crime happen over here.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, guess what? You got to prove that too.
Well,
think about it.
They don't
because the river is in between two states for now.
Is, but yet and still, she was on the boat that belonged.
Oh, I know what you said. A Memphis boat.
They're gonna bring her back over here, but the thing is, when I say Memphis is so slow, the mama probably did everything she needed to do.
Of course.
And it's just they just slow getting the information. They just slow. But I really, to bring that woman peace, I really hope that they find her daughter. And I really hope these people don't get away with it because for me, the friends got to know something.
Okay, but let's go here like Lolo said in the chat. Because a lot of people, I have learned this with true crime because I've done it myself. And I had put my foot in my mouth with a case in Savannah. This is why I don't want to really say her friends are actually involved. Because what we thought happened to somebody in Savannah was allegedly accidental death. But it looked like her daughter, son-in-law, whoever was involved. So I want to be very careful what I say.
No, I'm saying they know. Okay, you knew she wasn't there with you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they did anything to her, but you knew she wasn't there with you. And so why you didn't call the police? That's what I'm saying. why you didn't call the police and say, I don't know where she at. She was here.
Well, let's say they did all that. I think they said they did all that when they got off the boat once they left. They called the mother and all that. Well, see, this is what I want to ask you. If this is her body, what do you think happened to her?
I really don't know what happened to that baby.
No, you got an idea.
The only idea that I could think, I really think there's foul play involved.
Okay, just say that. Just say, I think something happened. Do you think something happened to her on the boat? On the boat? Do you believe she got off the boat?
I believe she got off the boat.
So you believe the golf cart guy?
Yeah, I told you in the beginning, I believe he telling the truth.
Okay.
But I believe he saw her. And I believe that. Now, I know you saw in the chat where I put there's a whole lot of sinkholes in the Mississippi River. You can see them. You can stand on the bank and you can see them. It's like a little whirlwind in a spot, and you'll see the water just going down like it's a little turn upside down tornado.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
like
you can see them. You can see them. And so my thing is, and those waves, they will carry you. We have had so many people to drown. There was expert swimmers in the Mississippi River because they got trapped in them suckholes.
It's a river. Anybody with sense would know. You don't swim in rivers. You don't swim in lakes. It's just common sense.
We talking about Memphis, baby. We talking about Memphis.
That's about anywhere. Water is water to me.
But what I'm saying to you, the people in Memphis have a different mentality.
Yeah. Well, you forgot I live in Tennessee. So to me, everybody think to me, all these people act weird to me. They all act weird to me. I live in Eastern Tennessee. It doesn't really matter. The redneck up here and the ghetto down there, it's all the same to me. They all act goofy as hell. Trust me, I see and hear stuff. Crazy.
They get drunk down there, and girl, it's just a mess. And they will wash up on the other side. So me, I really think that golf cart guy saw her. And I don't know what happened to her after that. I don't know. I don't know. Something happened to her. Something happened to her in the midst of him seeing her and her friends going to wherever they were going to.
Wherever they were. Like what? Tell me, like what?
I just believe something happened to her. I don't know. I can't say what happened to her, but I believe something foul play happened.
Well, let me do this. Intentional. If they off the boat.
Intentional. I believe it was intentional.
So what? We argued over money? Who smoked the last joint? What?
I don't know. I can't say what it is, but I believe it was intentional. I don't believe it was an accident that she
So let's talk about her car. And I believe she drove, because he says this in his commentary when he wants to talk to the news about people accusing them of hurting her. He says, he's talking about them getting ready, driving up to Memphis, blah, blah, blah. So I'm assuming he was with her and the other two people, whoever they met, they drove up on their own. So let's just go here. What happened to her car? See, I ain't heard nothing about her car.
They said it was an argument in the house before she even
that's at the party. Yeah, a day before.
Yeah.
But see, we don't even know what it was about because
we don't know what they argued about. We don't.
So I'd like to know if the guy that was with her, if he's gay or heterosexual. He liked her, didn't like her. See, I like to ask her. I like to know.
I would too. But it's going if this is this young lady's body.
Lolo, somebody said that in the chat in somebody else's video. I don't know about the golf cart guy. Like I said before, some girl made a derogatory comment about him. He can't be the guy that bought the drink because he can't be driving and on the boat too.
No. He wasn't. He can't even get on the boat. So no, he can't. He cannot.
But I'm just saying, somebody made a comment that they think he's the one that bought her the drink, gave her the money, and I said that wouldn't make no sense for him to be in line and driving the golf cart. He can't do two things at the same time.
But I'm saying he cannot even get on the boat. He can't get on the boat. You got to have that wristband that when you purchase, or you have to be somebody that works.
Make up some people assume what they want because they don't follow the story. If you're following the story, you can only go by really what these people are telling us. Because in the end, All this shit is their version. His version of seeing her. Their version of who said something to her in the line. Their version that she went to the bathroom. Their version that she left the phone. Then now that's changed to the phone was found near the bathroom. Well, which is it? Because it can't be both.
I don't know. But I believe that he saw her. I believe that he saw her. I believe that he saw her because the way they drive down there, it's not like they're not close to you. I mean, they're not like they can reach out and touch you, but in like a couple of arm lengths, they can reach out and touch you.
Okay.
They can reach out and touch you. They're just that close. It's not that big. People think it's huge, but it's not that big.
Well, to get the golf cart guys involved, he saw her flirting with her, and she jumped in the golf cart.
I ain't said he ain't involved. I just said that I believe he's.
I'm just throwing out. I'm just throwing it out.
I don't know, but something intentional happened to her. Something intentional happened to her, and he could be lying. She might not have been intoxicated as he said she was, or she could have been, and he could have took advantage of her.
Well, but you got to lay it out though. I'm in the golf cart. She with her friends. How would I get her in the golf cart? That's the only way I can get her.
Very easy, very easy.
No. I'm saying he has to have said something.
If I'm driving beside you and I say, y'all need a ride, and y'all like, no, I'm good. And then you just start talking to her. Hey, how you doing?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he would still have to have done it publicly, is what I'm saying, baby. He would still have to
Not necessarily. Because he talking, y'all walking, next thing you know, you don't see him no more or the golf cart no more, because you got to remember it's dark down there. So he could have got off the golf cart, and while they walking and drunk and talking, he could have snatched her and did what he had to do and threw her in the river. It's dark down there. It's dark. So he didn't stop talking to y'all. Y'all don't see the golf cart no more. Then all of a sudden she looked behind her. He just snatched her, put her hand over her mouth and snatched her and did what he had to do. We don't know. We don't know. We do not know. Because when I tell you it's dark down there, it's dark down there. Dark. You can barely see your hand in front of your face. It's dark.
Well, this is a lesson learned for the company. That you knew you needed adequate light down there. You knew you needed cameras onto the ship. Any passageways and going to the restroom. How big is the restroom? I'll see all those things are going to be important because, as I just said, we're going on the version from these people.
Yeah, because all I know is how the boat is, because somebody want to take me on the boat. That's all, baby. I wouldn't get on that mess. You couldn't pay me $1 million. Because they have one that goes from Memphis to Louisiana, and then it brings you back.
Interesting.
Then they have one that just goes up and down the river. So, but I'm gonna tell you this. I don't know who that young man was that came on your show, but if he stayed in that high rise, that
no, he didn't go on my show. He's on this other lady's show, Donna Be Real show.
Oh, okay.
He told her that he was the one explaining how it was set up and it's dark and this and that.
Yeah, if he stayed, it used to be called the River Mark. I don't know what it's called now, but it's a real tall apartment building.
Yeah, that's where he lives.
Yeah, and you can see the boats coming up and down, but you also can see the dock. Mm-hmm. If your apartment is up high enough. You can see. But I guarantee you somebody did saw something and they're not saying nothing.
Well, and see, that's where I have the problem. Because as I have said time and time again with true crime, there's always somebody who has told what they did. There's always somebody who's helped. There's always somebody that heard the story after the fact. And then they never tell anything. And there's so many crimes that have been solved because somebody finally came forward and told that they helped. They helped after the fact. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Or they were witness.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw it, but I feared for my safety. I saw it, but I was scared to say something. I saw it, didn't give a fuck about saying anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's just
that's what's going to be bad either way. If it was after docking or on the boat, how in the world would you see somebody go over and not say anything? This is crazy to me.
I don't know. And I feel for their mother. I feel for their mother. And I feel for her children. That's a hard pill to swallow right there. I don't know what to say, but I'm not hoping that that's her, but I want her mom to get some closure.
Oh yeah, she needs closure.
Yeah, because that woman hurting. That woman is hurting.
Now imagine that somebody said in the chat, it ain't her.
Ooh-wee.
Then where is the girl?
I don't know.
I suspect by this evening we will have it.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping they'll stop dragging
because it don't take that long to identify a body.
God, girl, Shelby County. I'm just gonna say.
So she's in Arkansas.
No, but for us to get it, Arkansas did. I promise you, Arkansas did what they needed to do. It's Shelby County. I'm telling you, it's Shelby County. I'm sure they already know.
Well, I can look. Listen, this is how I look at it. Right now, Arkansas got the upper hand as far as having the body. So in the end, they can release the statement, or she can release what she found and saw at the morgue. They don't gotta wait. They don't have to wait on Memphis to say.
They do have to wait on Shelby County to say, because I'm gonna tell you what happens. So, jurisdictional wise, what is that? Wait a minute. What county is that?
Yeah, they investigate, but what I'm saying is, if I found a body in my county, why do I need to get your permission to tell you I found the body, who I found the body to be?
Because when they come over and they talk about jurisdiction, they're going to argue the fact, well, what does the evidence point to? Does the evidence point to that she washed up on your side, but she was on this side?
Well, do you know how long that would take under the circumstances?
Do you know how long it would take with Shelby County?
No, I'm just saying in general. Don't nobody know anything to say how she got there.
But they're going to argue the fact. You talking about Shelby County. You talking about us people that's running this. They're going to argue the fact.
Well, basically you saying that they're going to want to claim that she came off that ship. But the folks already said that she didn't.
They're going to want to. They're going to do everything they can to say, well, how you know she came? You watch to see what I think.
Well, I'm not going to think negative like that, dear, because
I'm not thinking.
This is a dead person, and somebody needs to find out who
I work
it
for
is.
Shelby County, and I'm telling you, I'm a registered nurse. I worked for them in that capacity, and I'm telling you their protocol and what they do. That's just what they do. Now, I don't know if it's the protocol that they have to try to do it that way, but that's what they do. That's why it took so long in the young man's case. That's why it's taking so long with the young lady that got burnt up. That's just what they do.
But it sure didn't take that long when Eliza Fletcher went missing.
No, it didn't. But you got to think about the circumstances. Mm-hmm. So let's take about the little boy. The little boy that went missing. The little boy that he was walking the neighborhood and he drowned in the lake. Did you hear about that one?
I don't know.
Yeah, but it's kind of the same thing, because he was on Mississippi. They found him on Mississippi side. They found him in South Haven, the Mississippi side. But his parents, where he walked from, was on the line of Shelby County side. So they were too busy trying to find out where did the crime happen, instead of just letting the woman know, this is what happened to your son, or da-da-da-da. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if it's their protocol or whatever, but I guarantee you they already know. They've already identified the young lady. So hopefully they'll tell us today at, about 5:00, if that was her or not.
I hope so.
Arkansas don't take that long. Arkansas gonna do their job and keep it moving. But hopefully they'll let us know, if it's her or not. But I don't know. My heart is hurting for that woman. My heart is hurting for her.
Yes, because she's possibly taking care of the 2 children left behind. That's another factor. The woman had children. Yes. And now somebody has to explain, your mother's missing. You can't tell them nothing. I'm sure they're asking 1,000 questions. You don't have any answers. It's just a very horrible situation.
It is. My heart hurts for
horrible
her.
Situation.
And she came down here to celebrate her birthday.
Yeah. And got dead.
I'm gonna tell you something, Paul. If anybody gonna figure it out, it's gonna be you.
Who, me?
It's gonna be you, yeah.
No, I doubt it. I don't know, because see, it's too many irons in the fire. When you're talking about a boat full of people, a city full of crime, some kids we don't know, a young lady I don't know, I can't just say. I can say how something looks, but then we already know that sometimes how something looks, it ain't.
Yep, that's true. That's true.
Because it could be a possibility. It could be anybody.
But I just think you put the puzzle together well.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
I just think you put the puzzle together well. But all I can say is yes, to answer you guys' question in the chat, it is very dark down there. I wouldn't advise any of y'all to come down here and not be prepared when you get on that boat.
I wouldn't want to get on the boat anyway after this incident.
Yeah, because I'm trying to say
that I would never want to get on that boat down there or anywhere else, really.
Is it like a cruise? They don't have to wear life jackets? I don't know. See
this is the whole point. The riverboat here, I was invited to go on it months ago. I didn't go. First thing I asked somebody, did y'all wear life preserver jackets? Naturally, they said no. They ain't wearing the thing around the neck. Who wants to do that on a boat? But you have to think of a worst case scenario. If the driver becomes inebriated, if the driver gets sick, has a heart attack, now the boat is steering itself. The boat could hit a pillar, a bridge, wall, anything.
Mm-hmm.
And those things have happened in New York. A ferry or something hit the wall. You have to be realistic. And you don't have time to react.
The boat is not in good enough shape for me to get on it. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying. A river is a river. That river may start low at the beginning where it died. That ain't got nothing to do with, like somebody said, once it's down midstream.
Right.
That damn river is probably at full capacity. And that is very, very scary. And as this guy said to me last week, he said, or the week before, he said, could it be that somewhere down on, they were, going down the river, she was pushed over, and that's the reason why her body didn't come up yet. And I thought about that, and I said, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Her body didn't come up because they were down midstream in the middle of the damn river. She up under that water, ain't ready to float back up yet.
Like I told you, them sinkholes all the way down. This sinkhole could have been holding her body.
Well,
it's just, I don't know, but
I've seen the cases here where I live, because we have a lot of lakes here. A lot of the people have eventually floated up, and it didn't take too long for them to float back up either.
How many days did it take for her to float back up, Val? How many days has she been missing?
She's been gone, I want to say 16 days, because it was on a Saturday.
That's a long time, though.
Yeah. So her body floated up right at coming up on the 14th day. She floated up.
Okay. Yeah, because you got to think about which way was the current going. Yeah.
So all that's going to matter as far as, I guess, how she looks, if they find anything, the shape of the body, any type of blunt force. Because, once a body gets in water, water can do a lot of damage, just like if it was out in the elements. So all that's going to matter.
So let me ask you this, Val. So do you think they're going to, because I don't know this part, do you think they're going to do the DNA and the autopsy at the same time, or are they just going to identify her and then perform the autopsy?
They probably do the autopsy first, because they got the body on Saturday. So if you had time to do it, I would suspect that's what you would do first. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because they've had time to take a picture, and when the body first got in, they could have called the mother that day, which I'm sure somebody did, and say, "Hey, come on down. We got a body here at the morgue. We want you to look at her." I really think that's what they should have done as soon as they got a body.
But
just because a missing person went missing on the water.
But the news said her mother was going over there to give the DNA samples.
That's yesterday. I'm talking about Saturday.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm sure
the body was retrieved Saturday.
Yeah,
I would have called her over to the morgue on Saturday. That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
And then if we couldn't identify or it didn't look like her, I still would have took her DNA sample then.
Right.
But that's just me. I don't know the protocols about retrieving bodies and all that, but I'm just saying, if we already got a story out that somebody's missing and they went missing on a boat, to me, that would be the logical thing to do is once a body surfaces in close proximity, let's bring that person over and see if they can identify the body.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did.
Yeah, but I'm saying not Saturday though. My understanding is that she went yesterday.
She did go yesterday, but I think they notified her Saturday though.
Well,
they had found the body.
Yeah, that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think they did notify.
Because that's when they said something about it being a woman, and then another article said, well, they're not sure if it's a woman or not. But the advocate, the lady who has that missing foundation, said she got wind that it was a woman. And then, like I tell people, you got all these eyewitnesses and stuff. Somebody gonna slip it up that it's a woman because they probably saw hair. You know, the hair was probably still attached to the scalp or whatever. So you could tell it's a, you know what I'm saying? It's a girl.
Well, I'm sure they looked, the medical examiner looked at her and looked at her private parts and knew that was a woman. I'm pretty sure that they did look at her.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the people witnessing the body coming out the water.
Oh.
You know how people talk when they're at a crime scene? They talk. Because you got to have ambulance, all that's got to carry the body out.
Yeah,
however they took her out, the hearse or whatever. So people talk.
I don't know how Arkansas do it. I know Memphis, they do the ambulance, but I don't know how Arkansas.
Yeah, people, because I saw a hearse. I saw a white hearse. I remember seeing that. So people talk. The first that somebody already was on the horn when they went in and got out the water. People said, "Oh, it looked like a woman." You see what I'm saying? It looked like a woman. Then you got to ask yourself,
whoever
have clothes on.
saw the body, they probably talked too and said,
yeah, of course they did.
Yeah.
So then you got to say, what did the body have on it? Full clothes, no clothes? Did the clothes come off the body? So you have to ask all those questions. Jacket on, jacket off. Tank top on, tank top off. If it's her. Pants on, pants off. What shape was the body in?
Well, we about to know. I'm hoping and praying at 5:00. I didn't look at the 12 o'clock news. Oh, sure did.
But I did say, if indeed it is her, it's going to be worse. And the versions are definitely going to change. I told people that during the live stream yesterday, that you can best believe if indeed it is Tamia's body, you're going to get a new version of what happened on that boat. Watch what I tell you.
Oh, yeah,
it'll be another story. Because as evidence comes in, this is known, people who are involved change their story. That's why when you see the interrogation that's filmed, the story changes as the detective go in and out of the room with something. See what I'm saying? They ask you 50,000 questions they already got the answer to. And then they come back in. They go out the room, then they come back in. And then they say, oh, well, such and such said they saw you coming out of Walmart at 2 o'clock, not, 10 o'clock. See where I'm going? Now you got to try to fit that narrative. And that's what people do. So whoever did something to her, whether it was on land, on the boat, they got to now try to decide what they're going to say next, whether they've been talked to or not, just in case they come.
What was her last name?
Taylor.
No, they said about her. I was trying to see if because they posted the live news on 13, but they ain't said nothing yet. I don't know about. This is hard, but I tell you this, real soon we about to know what happened. Real soon we're about to know what happened to this young lady, if that's her body. We're about to know what happened to her, because the autopsy gonna tell the story. Just like in Breazia's case, it's going to tell the story. So, and then like you said, then all these stories going to change and everything that happened is going to change. But we about to soon find out what happened to this young lady, if that's her body. Do you believe that's her body, Val? Do you believe that's her?
I'm going to weigh on the latter, yeah. I mean, it'll be disturbing no matter whose body it is, because nobody has no business in the water unless they put themselves in the water. And that would be even just devastating, because the person, has family, I would assume friends, whoever body it is. But as I posed a question to the chat yesterday, could it be she jumped in the water?
I don't know. She could have been so inebriated she fell into the water.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And see, where that would be a problem is the obvious. a person jumped, fell by accident, why aren't you trying to stop the boat?
But wait a minute, what if she fell into the water after she got off the boat? What if she fell into the water while she was walking on her way to her car? What if they went to
how was she falling in the water to her car?
Because I told you, if they was it's a steep hill, and the water is right here. It's right there.
Yeah, but you got witnesses and y'all walking together, you would see somebody fall in the water.
No, it's dark. Well, you're gonna have to come to Memphis. It's dark.
You still got to explain. You're with people. So that would make no sense. If I'm walking and talking to you, and then all of a sudden you're not standing there, then I wouldn't be giving a version about you going to the bathroom. Say what now?
No, I'm saying they were walking, they were talking or whatever, and they all were inebriated, and I can't put your mind to it because you don't know how it looks. But I
can't visualize.
Yeah, there's a steep hill that you have to walk up to. There's a steep hill. But
is there water on the side for me to fall into?
Yes. It's like.
But I can't see that only because, as I said, you'd have to be the last one getting off the boat, and it's still a lie either way because they're saying she went to the bathroom. So then that can't be true. You see what? There's somebody lying.
I don't believe nothing they say is true.
Okay, but I'm just saying, because see, this is how I would tell people.
And if she fell off the boat,
you're only going by what they're telling you.
Right. If she fell off the boat,
ain't got no camera on this damn boat.
If she fell off the boat, somebody saw her. Somebody saw her fall off the boat. If she fell off the boat.
Because I'm assuming it would be damn near standing room only because they want to make their money. So even if it's loud music, fussing, people hollering, screaming.
But even if she fell off their boat, somebody saw her.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Then why wouldn't somebody say something? I can't be that drunk that I saw somebody go over there and I don't go run and tell somebody, hey, you need to turn this boat around or you need to stop the boat. A lady just fell off the boat.
That's the $1 million question. Just like, like I said, she fell in. Why wouldn't somebody say something? Why wouldn't somebody say something? Nobody's saying nothing. We get all these versions and nobody's saying anything. But she didn't up and just disappear. We know that.
Well, I'm going to say this. And I'm 2 hours and 32 minutes in. I'm going to end this. If the golf cart guy is telling the truth and she exited the boat, made it up to the walkway to walk on the regular street, the story is even probably worse than if she had fell off the damn boat. Because now you're talking about dry land and how did she get dead on Arkansas side?
I don't think when he saw her, she wasn't close to the street. That's what I'm telling you.
No, what I'm saying is, sweetheart, I can only go by what he's saying. Is what I'm saying. All I got is a version. See, everybody's giving a version. You don't know what's the truth.
But not if I'm wrong, he said that he saw her. She was with two ladies.
Yeah, and they're walking.
Right, and he said they was walking south.
Okay, but all I'm saying is it's still jacked up if I'm to believe his version.
But what I'm telling you, if she's walking south, she's still on the bank. She's not on the street.
Okay, well, either way, I'm just saying. The point is, it's still jacked up because no matter what, if she was actually made it off the boat, it's still fucked up that you got a version. She was still on the boat. Now you see where I'm going? And
yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
If this is her, she's on Arkansas soil. It's still jacked up.
Wait a minute. How is she on Arkansas soil? I'm confused.
That's where the body was found.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about when he saw her. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So now somebody's got to fill in the blanks from boarding the boat. Last time a photograph or video was taken of her making it off the boat, not making it off the boat. This guy's version of seeing her off the boat to seeing her walking to Arkansas. That's a hell of a stretch. That's a lot of gaps to fill in too. Because now you got to try to clarify and put everything in sequence versus versions of these people versus golf cart guy. And this is, like I said, way deeper than her falling off the damn boat. If we're to believe the golf cart guy.
I don't believe she fell out that boat. And all I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna leave it alone. I don't believe she fell off that boat. I believe that something happened to her when she got off that boat on that bank. I don't know if it was her friends. I don't know if it was the golf cart guy. I don't know, but I believe something happened to her when she got off that boat.
Well, that's the mystery.
Yeah, but we're gonna see. It's gonna
because we don't really know if he saw what he said he saw, if she fell off the boat at the beginning, if she fell off the boat mid cruise. See, we don't know. We just know she was found a few miles downstream. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, she was found on President. She was actually found on President Island. It is half Arkansas. Well, the man that he worked on President Island. That's still Memphis property, but it's in.
So I like to know she must have been washed up close to the shore.
No, I don't know. I didn't see the news thing where they said where exactly they found her, and I didn't see that one. So I don't know. I can't.
I think a barge found her.
Yeah.
Not on the barge.
Yeah, but I didn't see that part where they said where they actually, found her. Exactly found her. I didn't see that.
It's bad. The whole story is fucked up now.
It is, but
because see now, like I said, detectives have got the way her friend's version versus the golf cart guy versus autopsy, findings in the autopsy.
Right.
It's a hot ass mess.
But the autopsy is going to give us a better picture of what happened. It's going to give us a better picture.
Can they give time of death?
I'm just a nurse now. I don't know, Ms. Bowles.
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm speaking general terms.
I don't know.
Time of death, things like that. If there were any other wounds to the body, such as if
they can give you roundabout time of death, or the body has been in the water this many days. I know they can tell you.
Because if they can give time of death, then they can go back to the cruise and try to get a timeline of where they were at that time versus the time she died. Where was the boat at on the water? See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Downstream, mid Arkansas.
Or if she didn't fall off the boat on the water.
Well, all of it.
But we gonna see.
Because see, ding, ding, ding. Water in your lungs is a clear evidence material of if you drown or didn't drown.
That is correct.
So that's one part I forgot to mention about the story.
Exactly.
If she was killed before
and that's another thing, Bob,
hitting the water.
If she fell off the boat into the water, she was alive. And
if she was alive.
Usually when you jump in the water, you automatically come back up. The water automatically brings you right back up. And you see people out there, how you drown is what you do, you fight yourself to drown. You know how people say if you see somebody and they drowning, they can drown you too, because they're fighting. But when anybody,
because you panic. That's a lot of water to suck up. You can swim or not. It's still water.
When you dive into that water, your body automatically floats back up to the top. Automatically. So she was alive when she went in that water. She I'm pretty sure she was gonna panic. She would have been out there flopping around or whatever. If she was dead when you threw her in the water, now she ain't gonna do none of that.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, we don't know. We don't know what happened to her. We don't
That's
know
something I didn't think about. Being alive and or being dead before going in the water. Because naturally, most people probably think a person was alive thrown in the water. But like I said, you don't know what really happened on the boat. We don't know if the version that the friends have given is truth. Who's to say? And like I said, it's a matter of who you want to believe at this point, because now you got two different versions. If I don't believe she got hurt on the boat, then that means what he said is a lie.
Yeah.
Because how do I know somebody didn't hurt her in the bathroom? But then now you got to put it into question, how did you store her? Because in order to hurt her on the boat, she had to be stored somewhere temporarily.
And if he wasn't lying,
but then you got to get her off the boat to dump her.
If he's not lying, then who's to say they didn't do something to her while they was out or doing whatever, and then that person dumped her in the water a couple of days later? We don't know.
Say what?
So if his story is true and he saw her, Who's to say that they killed her that day? Who's to say that they
like held a hostage or somewhere?
Yeah, who's to say they weren't walking and then the friends killed her or whatever, and they put in the trunk of the car or whatever, and then a couple of days later or later that night they dumped in the water. We don't know.
Well,
we don't
see,
have
that's the whole part of the story.
It might be, but it's too. But we don't have any facts, so we don't know.
Because you're going by people's version. This is what I always tell people about a story is that everything is about perception. You either believe what somebody told you, or you believe the findings. Because there's times when there are findings, and people will argue that down. They'll argue the time of death. They'll argue the wounds. And then you'll have that bullshit they put on the autopsy inconclusive.
Yeah,
that's even worse.
I hope they don't do that. Please, I hope they don't do that.
That would be even worse when it's inconclusive, because now we're getting ready to wrangle day for day the death of a person.
Right.
And now the family still don't get no closure. Okay, now I know she dead, but I don't know how she died.
I hope at 5 o'clock these people tell us something.
Well, I hope so.
Because y'all news is the same channel as our news. Is it, Ms. Vaught, or it's not?
No, I'm East Tennessee, so we got our own news station up here.
Oh, okay.
Knoxville news station.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I'm gonna be watching at 5. I'm gonna see.
Okay. Well, I'm an hour ahead, so it'll be 6 o'clock my time.
Okay. But you might get it before me then.
No, what I have to do is I have to try to log into a Memphis station.
Okay.
And watch it, via the internet or whatever. I have to probably download the app, a Memphis station, and watch it on the app.
Well, Ms. Vaught, I want to tell you to keep up your commentary. And I really want to tell you, I really enjoy you. I can't catch you all the time live, but
that's fine. That's okay.
I do go and watch
the replay.
I go and watch it. And you have me thinking, and I didn't tell
you
this before.
Yeah, you got everybody. You was giving the queen a run today in this live stream with the commentary. I don't mean to be rude, but I try to make people think, because see, this is what I always do. When a person says anything, it's not that I'm saying what you're saying is the truth and not the truth, but what I always want people to remember is when you think something and say it out loud, make it make sense, because you got to bring a receipt with it.
You
understand? You got to try to make it make sense. Like the girl who was saying the stuff about the golf cart guy. Well, if I don't believe he's involved, you got to play it out. Role play.
Yeah, you got to make it make sense. Like I said.
You see, I can't role play the golf cart situation because I don't know what it looks like down there with the.
But I do. That's why I was telling you. I was like, he could have got off that golf cart and walked down there and got hurt. It's dark. You can't see. But the thing is that I like about you.
Or was he looking for her? Went back when they didn't get the ride, was attracted to her. Let's just go here.
That's what I'm saying.
We had a busybody saying this. I waited for the boat to dock.
I have seen men when they see drunk women coming out the club or whatever. They'll say, "Hey, little mama, can I take you home? Can I da da da?" She be like, "No, da 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 da." I have seen them get out the car and walk up to that young lady after her and her friends and separate and got another car and then continue to try to talk to her.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So we don't know what happened to her, but I'm with you. Now, you can't just put something out there and not bring any logic with it. Even though what I'm saying, I don't know.
All I'm going to say is that would be even worse, because it's still going to go back to their version.
It is.
That's where this is so conflicting, because he's now put iron in the fire to say, no, she couldn't have fell off the boat because I saw her after the boat docked. This messes it all up for the other friends.
Yeah, for the other friends. Yeah.
So now I'll probably do a video on that. Golf cart versus co-workers versus.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. That'll be a good one.
Because you've now put an iron in the fire. You're now saying what they're saying ain't the truth. And I think it's funny that the news people didn't say it to him. Well, the version is she went to the bathroom and was never seen and phone left. And then he would have been sitting there looking like, well, I don't know about that because I just saw her. I saw her.
Yeah, because if it was me, if I'm telling you the truth, you ain't.
So that's why you got to ask, well, is he telling the truth? And what would he have to gain by lying?
Exactly. But I'm just saying, if it was me and I'm the person that saw her, you ain't gonna be able to shake me from what I saw. I'm gonna say, well, that might be what they told you, but I'm telling you, I saw the mama
Yeah.
I saw
with them, and he did say with them. He
so
did
I don't
say
know
that.
what they telling, but I'm telling you, I saw her. She was real drunk, and they only like they were
And that's
tripping
what
or
he
whatever.
said.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you.
And that's what he said. She was with 2 women and a man. So they ought to be feeling real crunchy if this man is telling the truth.
They ought to be. But
that's why I said the plot is way deep now, because we now have 3 versions. 2 versions of a phone.
And an eyewitness.
And an eyewitness saying she was alive off the dock. That's why when people were saying it in the chat, I kept thinking, what the hell are they talking about? I ain't heard that. And then when I went and played it yesterday, my head was spinning.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
My head was literally spinning.
I'm going
to say this too for whoever was Miss Kimberly Earls. I don't know what your little smart ass comment was about coming in here. If you were making a derogatory comment about the chat and the host, but this ain't what you want, sweetheart. Now, if I misidentified what you said, then I will gladly apologize.
Oh, no.
But I don't think the comment was of good taste, considering we're talking about a deceased person and we're talking about a serious situation.
Well, Vaughn,
and whatever we were talking about, it doesn't concern you. And obviously, you have a problem with the host, the hostess, which you shouldn't, because you don't know me and I don't know you.
Well, Vaughn, I'm gonna get on off here and get on back to work. But
I'll talk to you later, baby. Thank you.
All right, don't you stop.
Okay,
I need you now.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, everybody. See, I tell myself not to address people, but I'm queen. And this is what's wrong with people right here. Aiding foolishness, ignorance. Going in chats and comment boxes saying derogatory stuff when a person is dead or a person is missing. And when you don't have all the facts and you don't have all the information, you can't assume anything. And it's bad taste to say anything bad about the situation and the decedent and or the missing. And definitely while a person is in midstream talking on their own channel to say anything derogatory. As the comment was said, just like the duck butts here, never. So we're ducks. That doesn't sound very positive to me. Kimberly. See, there's always a hater on board. You're sitting here talking about a missing person, possibly deceased, probably died under nefarious circumstances, and you'll get a bobblehead to come in to say something derogatory. My thing is, if you got a problem, you come to the queen directly, because I ain't hard to find. Kimberly Earls, if that's your real name. See, what you need to be worried about, you best to hope that you don't end up a Tamia Taylor. Because you surely could end up like her. Because most of us don't believe she died accidentally. Kimberly. And guess what? This duck bus gonna keep on going. How about that? Checkmate. Thank you for joining me. God bless all of you. Thank you for my guests. I will do another video pertaining to the golf cart guy versus the so-called friends, co-workers version. Who is telling the truth? Because now we have to wait on number 1, identification. If indeed it is Miss Tamia Taylor, then now how is all that going to factor in the different versions of the phone? The phone has become the matrix. It can move around by itself. It has feet. She was on the boat. People on the company say she was on the boat because they're going by some flim-flam videos, which means nothing. You can get off a boat within a second, either by falling, pushed. You get my drift. And if indeed the lady made it off the boat, how was she found all the way Arkansas side of the Mississippi River? Naturally, we know that you can float. Currents can travel the body. But what's going to be even more bizarre is if the girl made it off the boat, walked somewhere and got gone by that company of friends and or somebody else. The plot thickens. This is a very bizarre story indeed. And it is sad because someone is missing their child. Somebody is missing their mother. And that's what you should think about, Miss Kimberly. Some 2 children are missing their mother. Since you have no empathy for the dead. And you pick a story about dead people and missing people to infiltrate a chat with petty ass commentary. Thank you all so much for joining me. You have been listening to The Vault XL. Prayers to Miss Taylor's mother and family and her children. Thank you all so much. I'll be back later.